Of course not. He scoffs. If they are dead, how will they ever understand the true enlightenment of being eyeless? Without eyes, you feel no fear. With no fear, nothing is terrifying, leaving no earthly desires behind. Only then can you lay eyes upon the one true God. Zhu Minglang glares back with furious eyes, holding in his boiling anger. But you only lost your eyes because you were terrible at your job, not out of devotion to the Vomuk God. His mocking gaze is filled with pure sarcasm, his imposing aura completely challenging the crazy cult leader. And what about the rest of you? You still have your eyes, so who are you to perform this holy ritual? Why do you not gouge out your own eyes first? Then we can join in and all serve the Vomuk God together. The black-robed cultists exchange stunned, nervous glances, their confusion quickly turning into absolute rage. Floating high in the air with chilling authority, the Vomuk cult leader snaps that only he can perform this ritual. Just as a guard panics, my lord, we have a huge problem. Clutching his sharp blade, he spins around in a fury. Whatever it is, wait until I slice this brat's tongue out first, and gouge his eyes out first, he snarls. But the guard urgently warns him that a major threat has just arrived. A group of elite warriors is surrounding our monument walls, the scout reports. But the Vomuk cult leader remains completely unbothered and arrogant. Do you know who they are? He asks, as Zhu Minglang lets out a mocking, highly provocative smirk. I know exactly who they are, Zhu Minglang scoffs, sending the cult leader into a screaming, vein-popping fit of pure rage. Shut your mouth. A powerful voice booms, as a confident young noble steps forward with sharp, narrow eyes radiating absolute authority. I am Prince Zhuangkak. My soldiers and I have been tracking your twisted cult for days to completely wipe you out. A fiercely loyal warrior draws his blade and raises it high, commanding his men to protect Zhu Minglang at all costs, while the scarred Vomuk cult leader grinds his teeth in deep suspicion. Wait, Zhu Minglang, is his name not Zhuangkak? Now here is where things get really messy. Hung Thurn glares with raw fury, his eyes wide with hatred as veins bulge on his forehead. Zhu Minglang is hiding in there. Break inside and capture him alive at all costs. I do not care if he is dead, he yells, as soldiers charge forward with gleaming swords, hunting like a pack of wolves. Grinding his teeth, the Vomuk cult leader screams in absolute fury. His hoarse voice is pure venom as he yells, "Damn it, they played me. Slaughter every last one of them." Deep in the gloomy woods, they pursue a cloaked figure, as Manhwa shouts a desperate warning to stop running. Over at the platform, a group of hooded dark guards is protecting him. Two masked soldiers stare out coldly, their eyes gleaming with absolute, merciless cruelty as they prepare to slaughter everyone in sight. Leaping off the high stone cliffs like a sudden gust of wind, they dive straight down with drawn swords, charging fiercely toward that terrifying pool of fresh blood. Just look at this nightmare. A massive, grotesque leech slowly rises from the deep water, leaving the nearby soldiers absolutely horrified as they watch in panic. Under the pitch-black sky, the monstrous leech wriggles its way up from the pool of blood. Its dark, serrated jaws spray blood everywhere, showing rows of razor-sharp teeth as it easily swallows a helpless soldier whole. The soldiers huddle together on the rocky cliffs, their eyes filled with intense dread, despite the masks hiding their faces. What on earth is that thing? Its evil energy is overwhelming. The Vomuk cult leader throws his head back, laughing like a madman as if their lives are nothing. Do you honestly think a bunch of pathetic mortals like you can wipe out my cult? I am going to show you all what the real Wumu divine dragon actually looks like. More and more leeches rise from the blood lake, twisting and tangling together in an absolutely terrifying sight. Bodies merge, slowly. They start fusing together as if about to combine. Before long, the bloodleech evil dragon emerges from the crimson pool, its body covered in pitch-black scales, while glowing dark patterns flicker, releasing a wave of terrifying, sky-high murderous intent. Manhwa freezes in terror, cold sweat dripping as his voice trembles, raising an evil dragon. Does your Zhu sect really dare to violate the heavenly laws? Cult leader Wu Mu sneers arrogantly. What are you even saying about the Zhu sect? Do you royal lapdogs actually think you can stand against our supreme, 10,000-year immortal Wu Mu cult? Since you are already here, you will become sacrifices for our great Wu Mu divine dragon. He steps onto the blood leech, arrogantly threatening that eating cultivators makes it 100 or 1,000 times stronger. He stands proud, untouchable, inside the swirling demonic vortex. His eyes burn with absolute madness as he sneers sarcastically. I really must thank the young lord for bringing such a delicious feast of dragon food. Zhu Minglang stays calm on the outside, but his furrowed brows betray deep worry. In a commanding yet protective voice, he shouts for everyone to run first, though their eyes are filled with terror and their bodies are shaking all over. The captured young nobles cry out that they cannot move, making Zhu Minglang clench his teeth and unleash his magic with an extremely serious look on his face. Hakna, go, get them out of here now. The beast growls in furious rage, its eyes burning with bloodlust as it bares its razor-sharp fangs to threaten the incoming bloodleech. Zhu Minglang looks deeply anxious and worried. but he knows he is fortunate to have gathered information before blindly rushing into this dangerous fight. Reckless moves would definitely bring casualties, even with powerful elders Wu Feng and Bai Qinan present. The cult leader points right at Zhu Minglang, ordering his monster to slaughter him first, causing the young lord to frown with a hint of worry in his eyes. Damn it, he thinks. Isn't he blind? How is his aim this perfect? Zhu Minglang wields a massive sword blazing with crimson light, exuding a powerful, defiant aura as he yells, "Do you really think I am afraid of you? Just look at those massive claws as the beast reaches out, its dark talons glowing with a brilliant, red-gold energy. A direct hit. The monster takes a devastating blow as dark blood and flesh explode outward everywhere. Gripping his hilt tightly, Zhu Minglang channels a colossal wave of burning energy, his blade erupting in wild, raging flames. With fire swirling around him, his sharp eyes lock onto his foe as he raises his sword high, completely determined to end this. Suddenly, Hung Thin makes a spectacular entrance, standing firmly on the head of one of Zhu Minglang's powerful dragons. His eyebrows knit in rage, glaring down with sheer fury. "Pay with your life." But Zhu Minglang's eyes only light up with pure excitement, a wide grin spreading across his face without even a single hint of fear. Zhu Minglang covers his mouth with a sly, devious grin, his eyes darting around mischievously as he shouts, "Commander Hao, you are just in time. Slay this evil dragon and I will reward you handsomely." He mutters, "Sorry, old Hao, but you are going to draw the enemy fire for me." Cult leader Wu Mu gathers his dark magic, wearing a bizarre, overly confident grin as he sneers in pure contempt. "You have seriously underestimated our Wu Mu cult. I will slaughter this little subordinate of yours first, and then I will personally skin you alive and rip out your tendons." Hearing this, Hung Thin is absolutely furious, his face twisted. Who is his subordinate? Suddenly, his eyes widen in complete shock as a massive, blood-red torrent of dark energy pours down from the very heavens. The energy completely envelops the blood leech while the cult leader stands tall, raising his arm with a satisfied, arrogant laugh. "None of you are leaving this place alive. Crimson torrent." Deep inside that blood, hold on, because the blood leech's body starts squirming violently, morphing into a terrifying, high-tier monster, the legendary Wu Mu evil dragon. Hung Thin looks up in absolute horror, clenching his teeth as his eyes widen with sheer panic, shouting out, "This is bad. Retreat now." Cult leader Wu Mu stands triumphantly with his arms raised, laughing maniacally as blood splatters all around. "My faithful followers, open your arms wide and graciously accept this grand gift from our divine dragon." The evil dragon vomits a horrific swarm of gruesome leeches coated in thick, bright red fluid, creating an absolutely terrifying sight that makes everyone lift their brows and stare in wide-eyed shock. Their pupils dilate as they process the sheer horror, unable to hide their total shock even behind their masks. Though looking small against the massive beast, Zhu Minglang remains entirely undaunted, knitting his brows as he yells out in anger. "No way. I will never believe in your cult, so stop showing off these absolutely nauseating tricks." The nasty leeches pierce right through the bodies of the cloaked cultists, leaving them with mouths agape in total, panic terror. Instantly, those men transform into giant monsters with blackened faces, glowing red eyes, and heavily bulging muscle fibers, while one warrior swings his blade to unleash a blinding arc of light. His brows furrow as his blade touches the flesh, only to get swarmed by leeches that stop it from cutting through. The monster laughs savagely with glowing eyes, leaving him completely panicked as he stares back in pure disbelief. What kind of freak is this anyway? Panic sets in as the creature grabs a man by the head, cold sweat dripping down his face while his eyes roll back in sheer terror. With a brutal, merciless squeeze, the skull shatters instantly, spraying blood and gore all over the place. Seeing the horror, the survivors immediately scramble to run for their lives, their faces twisted in absolute panic. Someone screams to run for their lives as the horde gives chase. Clinging to the stone cliff, Zhu Minglang looks back anxiously, but he is still sharp enough to assess the situation. Evil possession and complete parasitic corruption mean this is going to be incredibly tough. Suddenly, his eyes widen as he spots something above. Look who finally decided to join the fight. Senior Tan An has arrived on the scene. Brandishing her majestic sword, her cold face is completely expressionless, radiating an aura of absolute authority as her brilliant eyes lock onto the danger without a single hint of fear, making her move with flawless precision as her flying sword technique rips right through the air, coiling like a soaring dragon, while lightning sweeps across the field, plunging straight into the dark crimson pool of blood, creating a striking, stunning contrast between the freezing silver steel and the ghastly red pool. The monsters get sliced clean in half, their dying roars echoing so violently it feels like the very ground is shaking. Zhu Minglang stares in absolute shock, his eyes full of disbelief after witnessing a technique that completely defies his wildest imagination. Is this the legendary flying sword stance? Maybe he can use the spirit dragon sword to replicate her incredible swordplay. The giant beast collapses under the sheer weight of that blow, glaring back with helpless fury as its broken body refuses to move. Check out his face, now he is completely locked in with supreme confidence, a smirk playing on his lips as he stands tall. Did the spirit dragon sword learn it? Zhu Minglang takes a steady stance, leaning forward with absolute focus, his serious face reflecting a fierce determination to strike. A brilliant red light erupts alongside sparks, bringing an earth-shattering power that shakes the entire cavern. Thick dust clouds roll up as massive boulders shatter into pieces. In a flash, the giant monster is sliced in half, spraying fresh blood everywhere, the crimson glare of the blade tearing through its flesh to deliver a fatal wound. A massive explosion erupts, sending sharp stone fragments flying in all directions amid a blinding flash of light that highlights the sheer destruction of the strike. Tanan looks back with a bizarre expression, her beautiful face cold and tinged with slight mock as she speaks. That was no flying sword, she tells him. You are just swinging wildly. Her gaze is sharp and knowing, her noble composure unmatched as she explains that the stance relies on weight and precision. When heavy, it must be like a hidden dragon resting in the deep, but when unleashed, it strikes with absolute power. Every single strike must be swift and precise, like a leaping tiger. Zhu Minglang forces an awkward smile as a sweat drop rolls down his face, asking sheepishly if that is how it works. Tanan forms a hand sign as crackling lightning sparks from her slender fingers, her long black hair whipping in the wind while her eyes gleam with supreme authority. A sharp beam of azure light plummets from above like a falling blade, anchoring itself in the ground. It pierces the solid stone pillar, leaving behind nothing but faint green trails of energy as he watches in total astonishment and panic. Cold sweat runs down his cheek, leaving him stuttering in disbelief at the miraculous sight he just witnessed. The sword has vanished. Tanan eyes him coldly, her piercing gaze dominating the area as she explains that a proper strike should hit like a silent flash of lightning in the dark. The razor-sharp tip of her blade is wrapped in energy, literally tearing through the space around them. It plunges deep into the Talong, and blood spraying violently from the wound as the beast screams in agony. Zhu Minglang locks his eyes on the scene, narrowing his brows as the realization finally hits him. He begins to form his own hand seals, closing his eyes with absolute concentration, submerging and hiding his presence as radiant energy wraps around the blade, making the gem on its hilt glow like a fully mastered spiritual treasure. The Talong continues its relentless assault on their cliffside position, sending streams of leech-infested blood flying straight at them. Zhu Minglang glares, narrowing his eyes as he barks out his command. Strike. His blade slices cleanly through the beast's attack with powerful, crackling lightning that shakes the air, causing Tanan to glance over with a hint of genuine surprise. Sweat dripping down, knowing nobody in the Miao Shan sword sect can match him. Just 2 glances were enough for him to grasp the core of the flying sword technique. Zhu Minglang scratches his head and bows slightly, looking completely friendly and relaxed. Thank you for the guidance, senior, he says. Right then, the evil dragon's wound begins to glow, seemingly healing itself as waves of dark magic swirl all around it. He looks toward it, his steady gaze showing clear determination, and then turns to make an offer to her. Senior, this Vo-Muk evil dragon is quite strong, so we should team up to eliminate it and prevent future trouble. Zhu Minglang summons Bai Qi to appear, emerging with blue ice shards swirling around its body, glowing with brilliant light. Then Bai Qi spreads its massive wings, launching sharp ice shards directly at the Vo-Muk evil dragon. Wherever its attack touches, the Vo-Muk evil dragon's body seems to freeze instantly. Within the powerful swirling vortex, Bai Qi attacks continuously without a single moment of rest. The dragon roars in pure rage, a resounding sound carrying deep pain. The vortex created by Bai Qi keeps surging toward its opponent, powerful as a giant hurricane sweeping everything away. Shards of the Vo-Muk evil dragon's flesh are sliced apart by the swirling current, sending blood splattering everywhere. He grimaces and gnashes his teeth to focus his power, commanding his weapon Ninlong sword, strike fast and win quick. Carrying blazing flames, the sword charges fiercely straight toward the Vo-Muk evil dragon. Its speed is so immense it looks like a mere flash of light, yet the residual power and sharpness are far from ordinary. The Vo-Muk cult leader grimaces, his mouth wide open as he screams in pain and despair. Damn it, he commands. Vo-Muk, god dragon, drink blood. The dragon dives into the blood pool, thrashing around. Zhu Minglang frowns in complete disbelief, his open mouth showing his sheer shock before he quickly yells an order. This is bad, look at that. The evil dragon is actually healing itself through the blood. Bai Qi, freeze that blood now. Bai Qi flies around the bloody pool, unleashing a wave of ice to encase the entire area. The moment his magical power touches the flowing blood, it instantly freezes solid. Forming hand seals, the Vo-Muk cult leader releases overflowing magic, veins bulging as he screams in rage that nobody can stop him. Rising with immense power, the evil dragon shatters all the surrounding ice. The cloaked figures watch in absolute horror. A giant leech leaps out from the beast, flying toward the onlookers and biting right into their heads. Their hands slowly transform, becoming veiny and wrapped in dry bone. Every bitten person turns into a pale monster, their faces sunken enough to expose their skulls. With blood-red eyes shining like fiery pits, the entire atmosphere turns incredibly dark. Remaining perfectly calm, Zhu Minglang forms a hand seal and commands his sword to cut down those tentacles. The sword quickly slices crisscrossing white lines like a complex maze all around the dragon. With a wave of his hand, he controls the blade, and those light trails slice through its flesh, making it roar. Zhu Minglang flies up, standing firmly on his sword as he maintains his spellcasting stance with unwavering eyes. Lin Vu's sword, it unleashes savage slashes all around the dragon, making the beast writhe in agony. Gritting his teeth, the Vomuk cult leader is furious and shocked. Damn it, how is this possible? The Vomuk evil dragon is general rank. Exuding bitterness and helplessness, his gaunt face screams out, "Fine, let's preserve our lives for another day." But a sudden slash ends his life instantly, blood spraying everywhere. The mysterious swordsman then smoothly sheathes his blade after cleanly taking down the Vomuk cult leader. This is the leader of the Death Guard mansion, landing with a solid stance that shows his sheer authority. Haikam carries a tough aura, his sharp eyes flashing with disdain and anger. Gripping his weapon tightly to show his resolve, he calls this minor cult a bunch of clowns, while a man looking down from the cliff laughs loudly with praise. "What excellent blade skills," Ngofong calls out confidently, his words seemingly harmless but actually dripping with mockery. "I wonder where you come from. Wouldn't being a free and easy wanderer of the martial world be much better? Why choose to be a mere dog serving the nobility instead?" Down below, Haikam is startled by that voice, realizing this man's presence is incredibly faint since he didn't even notice him there. If he had launched a sneak attack just now, I would definitely be dead. Does he simply disdain underhanded tricks? He scowls, deeply annoyed by the insult. "Cut the nonsense. Since I'm here to kill Zhu Minglang today, taking down one more pest won't hurt. Today, your soul will be imprisoned inside my blade for all eternity." Ngofong folds his arms solemnly, his eyes filled with contempt, trapping souls in a blade. "So you're from the Shidao sect, right? The Shidao sect was once as famous as our Jiaoshan sword sect. No wonder you've fallen so low with lapdogs like you running around." He swiftly draws his sword, his calm expression vanishing as his eyes fill with intense killing intent. Under the pitch-black sky, standing tall against the howling wind, Ngofong hurls his scabbard forward. Haikam watches with tense, wide eyes, his face completely grimacing. What? Why did he throw his scabbard into the air? Could his scabbard be hiding some sort of secret mechanism? Looks like I'll need to keep a close eye on it. With a rock-solid stance and a decisive leap, Ngofong slashes forward, unleashing an absolutely overwhelming aura that dominates the entire battlefield. His face radiates fierce determination and pride as he yells out, "Prepare to taste my blade." Realizing the danger, Haikam instantly regrets his position, knowing that dodging this strike is nearly impossible. Damn it, he thinks he took the initiative and I can't dodge. If that's the case, I'll meet force with pure force. He spins around, barely evading Ngofong's heavy strike, his sharp eyes burning with pure determination and deadly intent. Impressed by the move, Ngofong smirks with excitement, his eyes flashing with a thrill for the battle. Haikam uses his sword to block each heavy blow coming down, thinking to himself something is wrong. This guy definitely has a hidden follow-up move. Even while barely blocking Ngofong's relentless onslaught, Haikam glances back, his heart still filled with a strange sense of arrogance. That's it, he thinks the scabbard must be his trump card. But too bad for him, I've already seen through it. Ngofong just smirks with pure contempt, finding Haikam utterly pathetic. Ngofong sneers, "What exactly are you looking at?" Suddenly, Haikam realizes his fatal mistake, his eyes widening in sheer panic disbelief. "Not good," he gasps. Ngofong tears through the wind like a deadly arrow, his face expressionless and cold. Every single one of his movements radiates absolute, untouchable confidence. Cold sweat pours down Haikam's face as intense panic sets in, leaving him completely blindsided by a threat he never saw coming. No, he thinks there is no hidden trick. He just calculated the exact split second the blade enters the scabbard, using that tiny window to completely finish me. Haikam collapses heavily onto the cold ground, his knees buckling as fresh blood pools beneath him. Ngofong stands with crossed arms, his mind uneasy. It seems the prince's mansion has swallowed quite a few factions. Could the entire Shidao sect have sworn loyalty to Prince An? His face tenses up slightly, eyes clouded with deep, heavy worry. Or is it just this fool working with them? He wonders either way. I need to warn Trukthi Quan. Ngofong glances toward the other battlefield, where a massive explosion erupts, sending the pool's blood splashing everywhere as his distant gaze locks onto the chaos. His lips tighten in worry for the outcome of that fight, wondering how Zhu Minglang is holding up over there. The Ta Long stretches out, spewing swarms of razor-toothed leeches that multiply rapidly as they thrash wildly through the air. The deadly swarm flies straight towards Zhu Minglang, who is currently flying high in the sky. His face twists in pain as he grits his teeth, focusing every ounce of his energy on blocking the incoming barrage. but the sheer numbers are simply too overwhelming, knocking him off balance and sending him plummeting into a free fall. Mid-air, Zhu Minglang desperately calls out to Bai Qi, who instantly spreads his massive, powerful wings to catch him. He lands safely right on Bai Qi's back, avoiding any serious injuries. The beast then soars upward, its body radiating a brilliant, blinding aura of magical power. Dizzy on its back, Zhu Minglang gasps that was way too close. He sighs heavily, frustrated by his own weakness and realizing he needs to train much harder with the sword dragon spirit. But look at this, right when we think he's safe, he turns around to an absolute nightmare as the Ta Long tears through the inner city. Bai Qi rushes to the scene. Terrified citizens run wildly in every direction, screaming for help and telling everyone to run. His face twisted in anger, Zhu Minglang issues a fierce, determined command. He yells out, Bai Qi, stop it now. He simply cannot let this monster slaughter any more innocent people. With matching resolve, Bai Qi speeds toward the destruction. The two ancient creatures stare each other down, ready for a brutal clash. Unleashing its power, Bai Qi conjures massive, razor-sharp shards of ice. The icy pillars grow taller, but just as they clash, wait, who is that suddenly entering the battlefield? Zhu Minglang is left completely stunned, his jaw dropping in surprise. Meanwhile, Tanan quickly weaves hand signs, her cold, sharp gaze locked onto the Ta Long. She yells out, get away from them, you beast! Then she leaps into the air as brilliant light erupts around her. Tanan radiates an imposing, majestic aura, her sharp eyes showing absolutely no hesitation as she prepares her strike. The sword in her hand glows with blinding light, signaling an incredibly devastating technique is about to land. Surging with massive spiritual energy, the blade tears through the air, hurtling forward with unstoppable force. It slices cleanly through the Ta Long, making the beast roar in agony. But suddenly, the monster snaps its jaws open and charges straight at her, catching her off guard. Panic washes over Zhu Minglang as he screams, Senior Bok, watch out! Instantly, Bai Qi flaps his wings and dashes forward, unleashing a powerful wave of magical energy. Sharp ice shards pierce the Ta Long's head, forcing it to veer off course. Bai Qi swoops past Tanan's position as Zhu Minglang reaches out, pulling her safely onto the dragon, his face heavy with worry. Looking down at her, Zhu Minglang asks with genuine concern, Senior, are you all right? Tanan remains completely calm, her cold eyes meeting his as she quietly replies, I am fine. This wild dragon is terrified of the cloud fire on my flame sword, so it cannot hurt me. Seeing this, Zhu Minglang finally understands why she stands there so fearlessly. So that is how it is. Realizing this, Zhu Minglang bows slightly and respectfully clasps his hands to make a proposal. Senior, I have a single technique that can kill this wild dragon in one strike, so please protect me. Hearing his plea, Tanan trusts him and agrees. Clasping his hands to form hand seals, he prepares to unleash his ultimate move on the evil dragon, his face tight with intense concentration. Ning Longsword Dragonstorm unleashes a heavenly fire hidden inside his ancient flame-marked sword, a force easily rivaling her own cloud fire. Tanan gasps in utter shock, her mouth hanging open as she stares at the blazing light. She wonders if this is heavenly fire, while Zhu Minglang calls out, Senior, let me borrow your sword for a moment. She quickly flies over, placing her hand on his back to transfer her massive energy as their powers merge. His eyes glow crimson, locked onto his massive target with absolute determination and deadly focus. With a reckless determination to fight to the end, he launches his sword, sending a roaring, crimson vortex of raw magic directly at the evil dragon. Her gaze softens with deep concern and worry as she rushes to his side, asking if he is all right. Zhu Minglang assures her he is fine, though clearly exhausted from overdrawing his power. He mutters that he just pushed too hard, and a brief rest will fix it. She knows he overextended himself to pull that off, but at least the terrifying evil dragon is officially down for the count. With the dragon severed on the ground, Zhu Minglang reaches out to claim the legendary Soul Pearl. Holding the glowing bead, Zhu Minglang realized that since this was a Lord-class beast, the Soul Pearl must be of extremely high quality and value. Even if he cannot use its massive power himself, trading this rare treasure could easily buy him an entire wealthy city. He looks down at the prize, practically radiating absolute confidence and pride. Violent magical energy erupts from the bead as he claims his well-deserved prize. All around them, the battlefield lies in ruins, with jagged stone fragments scattered everywhere amidst thick rising smoke and dust. Suddenly, someone in their group shouts out that Hao Xingsheng has cowardly fled the area. Remaining completely unbothered, Zhu Minglang assures everyone with a confident smile that they do not need to worry, as someone else will deal with that coward. The Zhu sect is not some helpless toy for others to bully. Her eyes cold and empty of emotion, Tan An turns to Wu Feng and speaks with regal authority. Hall Leader Wu, we should each draft a formal letter. We must report the atrocities of Bai City directly to our sect elders. Closing his eyes, he calmly agrees with her strategic plan. Thinking about this nightmare makes my blood run cold. and I completely agree with you. Kneeling nearby in ropes, a bound prisoner gasps after witnessing everything. That was absolutely terrifying. Thank goodness that monster was slain, or none of us would have made it out of here alive. Nearby, another captive sighs in deep despair, muttering that even with the beast dead, their miserable lives will not get any better. He simply cannot accept how easily innocent lives are thrown away, arguing that even slaves should never be slaughtered like mindless cattle. This senseless cruelty directly violates the laws of heaven. Wu Feng looks on with a grim, heavy expression, deeply concerned that these horrific actions will only allow the dark forces and wicked demons to flourish and grow stronger. Ultimately, it is the innocent citizens of the Jiding continent who will suffer the most. Under a cloudy night sky, illuminated by a brilliant full moon, Zhu Minglang stares up at the light, clearly lost in deep, heavy thoughts. The Castellan of Bai City is definitely behind this plot. I must report everything to my uncle Zhu Wushan so he can launch an investigation. If such darkness can thrive right under the emperor's nose, you have to wonder how many hidden, corrupt cities are operating in the remote shadows. Although Tanan maintains a calm composure, her troubled eyes burn with quiet rage and absolute determination to see justice done. Those vile slave traders are nothing but greedy scumbags chasing quick, bloody profits. They are deeply entangled in this entire conspiracy. Looking ahead with absolute resolve, he grimly points out that the massive shadow backing these mercenaries consists of several powerful militarist nations, making this a highly complex and dangerous threat. To truly fix this, they would have to completely abolish slavery. But that is far beyond what they can realistically change, leaving Zhu Minglang utterly lost in quiet contemplation as he considers the harsh reality of their world. By comparison, his home continent of Lichuan seems much more peaceful. Under Li Yunzi's rule of Zulong City, such a rotten, corrupt place would never be allowed to exist. It is a pity she is currently injured. Otherwise, bringing her to unite the Miao Nation would have been an incredible plan. Finally arriving at the bustling capital of Miao Nation, he feels a sudden wave of relief. They have finally made it, and in just 4 or 5 days, they will reach the legendary Miao Shan Sword sect. Turning back to Xinghua, Zhu Minglang warmly gestured ahead, like an excited local guide. The Miao Nation is famous as the land of flowers, with their state preceptor revered as the flower deity, which explains the vibrant blooms lining every single street. Admiring the view, Xinghua agrees, praising how gorgeous and incredibly fragrant they are. Looking around with a highly curious gaze, Zhang, he wonders aloud if they are holding some massive local festival. Look at all these people and flower lanterns. Morgnu explains that since the flowers are in full bloom, anyone can pick them. It is not even a holiday, just the annual son-in-law selection festival, drawing in eligible bachelors from many different kingdoms. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang turns back to look, completely caught off guard by such a strange tradition. With a quite calm and slightly cold expression, she calmly answers their questions to satisfy everyone's curiosity. Dio Kwok has always done this. Whenever a princess or noble lady reaches marriageable age, a nationwide selection begins, usually held during autumn. Eventually, all the regional lords and nobles followed suit in their own territories. Over time, even common girls started holding their own selections during this exact season, and that is how this massive festival came to be. Ngofong leans close to Zhu Minglang and whispers, "Little brother, I heard your parents actually met exactly like this." Zhu Minglang snaps around, his brow furrowed in utter annoyance as he objects, "Was it not an arranged marriage?" Ngofong smiles warmly, looking straight ahead as he slowly explains, "Yes, it was arranged. But it seems your grandfather chose Sect Master Marn of the Mu Son Kim Tong, who is your father. Sect Master Marn demanded that Truk Thien Kung win this selection festival first before agreeing to marry." Zhu Minglang slowly nods as the pieces finally fall into place. Zhu Minglang suddenly looks away, his eyes downcast with sadness. Sadly, his mother left Trukmon and returned to the Mu Son Kim Tong, completely dedicated to the path of the sword. She probably does not even remember what my name is anymore. The next morning, a deafening noise erupts outside, instantly ruining Zhu Minglang's sleep. He desperately covers his ears with a pillow, but the loud racket still gets through. Yawning loudly, Zhu Minglang pushes open the window to investigate, muttering in frustration, "What is with all this noise so early in the morning?" Down below, a massive flower-covered palanquin carries a gorgeous lady sitting gracefully. The street crowd is buzzing with gossip that is Princess Lak Thui, the main star of this massive selection event. And let's be real, even behind that veil, she is absolutely gorgeous. I really want to pull that veil off just to see her face, but a sharp knock on the door interrupts him. Zhu Minglang walks over to open the door, and seeing Tin Huar walk inside, he stammers out a greeting, wondering which wife she might be. With a very gentle look, she shares some exciting news, young master. I found the sacred relic. Hearing that, Zhu Minglang immediately remembers her prophetic abilities, as only Tin Huar would ever address him as young master. His eyes turn incredibly serious and urgent as he quickly asks if she is sure, while Tin Huar points her finger right out the open window. Zhu Minglang steps up to the window, resting his hands on the frame as he scans the area. Is it by those trees over there? No, not there. Suddenly, something shocks her and wait. Look at his reaction here as he asks what is wrong. Tin Huar gazes down at the beautiful maiden sitting on the carriage, pointing out a specific facial feature, which leaves Zhu Minglang in absolute, visible shock. With wide eyes and raised brows, he leans in closer to confirm if she really means that the delicate veil itself is actually the legendary sacred relic. Suddenly, he freezes in surprise, his gaze locking onto something very unexpected. Right down below them, Ling Fei suddenly turns around and looks straight up at the pair. The two of them stare down from above, but she only gives them a brief glance before coldly turning her head back. Tin Huar goes dead silent, her eyes filled with a quiet sadness. Zhu Minglang glances at her with an indifferent look, but inside, his thoughts are racing. It turns out Ling Fei is staring longingly at Tin Huar, like she is totally lovesick. Back inside the manor, everyone sits around the stone table as Fang Yinian chimes in, saying they need to prepare more food for Dar Huck because it has been eating like a little pig lately. Resting his head on his hand with a quite bored look, he mutters it actually eats way more than any pig. Just then, a pair of slender, pale legs in a very familiar purple dress walks in, leaving Zhu Minglang slightly confused about who she is. Fang Yanian smiles brightly and points at him. Hey Zhu Minglang, care to make a bet that today is not Sister Nan Lingsha? Confident as ever, he boldly accepts 10 gold sands, say it is Lady Nam. Vorsa raises her hand to greet them with a gentle smile, saying good morning, while his disappointed face replies with a simple morning. He already knows he lost, since the cold Nan Lingsha would never dream of greeting others first like this. Fang Yanian gives a sneaky smirk, holding out her open hand. Pay up. Disappointed, Zhu Minglang drops the money into her palm with a sigh. Fine, you win today. Vorsa sits down and asks, what are you two betting on? Flustered and stumbling over her words, Fang Yanian stutters, we were just betting on which of the sisters would show up. She immediately makes a run for it to escape. I am off to buy some missing items. Vorsa watches her leave, completely puzzled. Do you guys seriously place bets on this every single day? Zhu Minglang scratches his head awkwardly, muttering that the incredibly long journey is just quite boring. Vorsa pulls out a dazzling, glowing pearl, giving him a playful smirk with clear excitement shining in her eyes. This is a top-grade gold pearl, and I want to play too. Staring at the gem, he gasps, that is amazing. Where did you find it? But it feels completely off. That's just not fair, since she definitely already knows who tomorrow's target will be. Vujia is absolutely dead set on making this bet, so let's set it for 7 days from now, early on that 7th morning. If it's me, you owe me a premium golden pearl. But if it's my big sister, I'll hand yours over today. Zhu Minglang glances over at Tin Hoa to confirm the rules. Can these people actually choose exactly when they wake up? She honestly tells him no, they can't. A sly look flashes in his eyes, his lips curling into a smug, competitive smirk. All right, let's lock in that bet for 1 top-tier golden pearl. Zhu Minglang turns serious again, looking at Vusa with a slightly worried expression. Oh right, Lady Tin Hoa discovered that Princess Lac Thui actually holds a legendary divine jade relic, but she turned it into a face veil. Do you have any way to get it? Vusa shows absolute determination, her sharp eyes flashing with a playful, clever grin. With the look of a planner, she shrugs simple. We just steal or rob it. Cold sweat beads on his forehead as he stares in absolute shock, and honestly, can we blame him for being terrified? Typical Vusa, that is one incredibly bold move, and honestly, a brilliant strategy. Inside the quiet room, Mengnu sits perfectly upright to explain the customs. A face veil is typically a sacred symbol worn only by imperial princesses. They start wearing it from age 18, and they basically never take it off in public. Vujia gets curious, how on earth do they wash their face then? Mengnu keeps her cool, explaining the whole tradition in detail. Well, they obviously take it off to wash, but a princess's face is considered something incredibly sacred. They would never allow any outsider to lay eyes on them, especially some random man. Most nobility in the Du Kingdom follow this strict rule, so even a father might not see his daughter's face after she turns 18. She lowers her head slightly, speaking with deep knowledge. The only time that veil is removed is on their wedding night, by their newly wedded husband. Of course, some royal women choose to take multiple husbands. They might even keep a whole harem of male favorites, and in those cases, they don't wear a veil. Mengnu calmly explains, keeping her elegant posture. As for the common folk, they do not care about this rule at all. Wear it or not, it is entirely up to them. Vujia flashes a highly mischievous grin, clearly setting up a playful trap. Lady On, here's the thing. Our young master truck fell in love at first sight with Princess Lac Thui, but he's too shy to ask. So I'm asking for him. If he wants to enter the contest for her hand, what does he need to do? Zhu Minglang panics instantly, his face turning bright red from embarrassment. Vujia, please stop causing trouble before you get us all killed. Mengnu blinks in complete surprise, utterly confused by this claim. Wait, Doesn't young Master Truk already have two incredibly talented and beautiful wishes of his own? She just squints her eyes with an innocent look that is actually loaded with pure mischief and teasing. Oh, men are always loving the new and discarding the old. To make sure he doesn't get tired of us, we just have to go along with his wishes, right, sister? Mengnu looks straight ahead, her gaze sharp and perfectly serious. Entering the groom trial is pretty simple. Given Master Truk's high status and talent, he just needs to go to court and show his sincerity. But in our country, even a simple village girl would never accept sharing a husband, let alone a princess doing that with someone like Master Truk. So please, young Master Truk, do not take her jokes seriously. I definitely didn't mean to imply anything. Vujia leans in so close she's practically whispering right in his ear, leaving him completely flustered with his mouth hanging wide open. See, I told you there's no need to be shy. If I'm totally fine with it, why are you so embarrassed? Zhu Minglang stares back in pure panic, sweat pouring down his face as he desperately tries to shut her up. Suddenly, the heavy door swings wide open with a loud, sharp creak. He's got both of his wives holding his arms, his face burning red while he rolls his eyes in complete helplessness. I heard the Dragon Lady Palace is loaded with vast treasures. Let's go check it out. But upon arriving, Trung Ha looks around, feeling totally underwhelmed and asking if this is really the place. How does our Jiao Sun Sword sect somehow look way more impressive than this? Ngofeng clears his throat to cut him off, telling him to stay humble. We are a very modest sect, after all. Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang is getting super excited. This palace is one of 7 great temples of the Hidden Dragon, located right in the Diu Kingdom and packed with female dragon masters. Just then, Zhao Nu steps out. Looking absolutely breathtaking in her vibrant red robes, her elegant figure oozes pure grace. She asks if they're the 3 gentlemen here to enter the husband selection. Our rules for selecting a groom are incredibly simple. We only choose the absolute strongest. Zhu Minglang raises an eyebrow with a helpless grin. Like, why does it feel like every single place we visit has some sort of marriage tournament? But then, his eyes flicker as a sudden memory hits him. He vividly recalls Vujia wrapping her arm around his shoulder, teasingly suggesting that he should totally go for that royal consort title, especially since Princess Lak Thui is so breathtakingly beautiful. Zhu Minglang coldly refuses. He cannot betray Li Yunzi as she looks up with a gorgeous face. She asks if he still wants to save Li Yunzi, reassuring him she probably won't mind a concubine. If he can convince the Lak Thui princess to be his concubine and secure the divine jade, everyone wins. Hesitant, he finally accepts, saying he will do it for Li Yunzi, but only as a temporary act of pretending. Once he gets the divine jade, he plans to run away immediately. Zhao Nu steps up to Zhu Minglang with a warm smile, praising how incredibly handsome he is. Thinking fast, he glances at the guy next to him and pats his shoulder. This young master Van Trung Ha is still single and completely inexperienced in romance. If he can win a beauty's heart with his talent, he will surely agree, which leaves the guy completely startled and panicked. Van Trung Ha folds his arms, acting noble with closed eyes. Making friends is fine, but marriage is a no. Zhao Nu gives a mysterious look, her words loaded with meaning, warning him not to count his chickens before they hatch. Look at this beautiful scene as Zhao Nu leads them past gorgeous red leaves, where beautiful maidens are already watching them. They all flash warm smiles as Zhao Nu introduces them as outstanding disciples of the Dragon Daughter Palace, waiting for marriage this year. She smirks, absolutely charming. Her gaze tells the whole story. Her smile and words scream charismatic villain, while on the other side, several princes and heirs are already lining up inside the palace. Meanwhile, other heroes are lining up outside the palace, easily reaching at least 1,000 people. Since they are distinguished guests from afar, she will place them right behind the princes, leaving Trung Ha completely wide-eyed with curiosity. He asks if winning means he gets to freely choose one of those lovely ladies. The girls giggle, forcing Zhao Nu to explain that young Master Van is probably used to societies where men make the rules. She asks for permission to speak a bit bluntly. If he wins, the ladies choose him instead, while Vin Ha smiles warmly, asking Sister La which small kingdoms these foreign heirs represent. She introduces them to Sister Tong. This is Ngofeng, the sect leader of the Jiao San Sword sect, along with his top disciple Van Trung Ha, and the sole heir of the Truk Monday. They are elite guests from one of the 6 great families in the imperial city, so Zhao Nagu urges her sisters not to miss this chance. Fi Yen steps close to Trung Ha, gently touching his arm and speaking in a soft voice with blushing cheeks. Since he is the top disciple, he must be incredibly strong, asking him to show off his sword skills later. He is flustered yet excited, quickly agreeing. And Wai wraps her arm around Zhu Minglang, asking the Trukmon heir to spend some nights with them, while Hoai Van hugs Nu Feng, making the old man blush. No wife yet? She asks with a grin. Suddenly, a newcomer arrives, causing everyone to turn their heads in surprise. A short, fat, ugly guy with a massive facial mole stands there. He rudely yells at them to get out. Zhao Nu tries to explain who they are, but Prince Luong cuts her off, declaring that while she has her rules, he has his own. The arrogant prince claims he has never competed with anyone in his entire life. Any fool who crossed him was fed to the dogs, so throwing them out now is already a massive act of mercy. Oh man, look at that glare. Trung Ha mocks the prince for talking so incredibly big. Completely ignoring him, the prince walks straight up to Zhu Minglang and commands his men to break his legs and throw him out. Zhu Minglang is totally baffled. Why break his legs? He has not even said a single word. He has to speak up and ask if there is a reason for this. The prince points a finger directly in his face, screaming at him in absolute rage. He yells that he grew up with a cousin who had a handsome face that girls loved, who eventually stole his woman, making him hate handsome faces ever since. Since Zhu Minglang looks just like him, seeing his face makes the prince completely furious. Zhu Minglang finds this utterly ridiculous, scoffing at the absurd idea of a face that girls love. He asks if the prince is simply jealous of his good looks. Trung Ku steps up to confirm if they should break all 3 of his legs, earning an angry roar from the prince. Ngofong watches with worry, warning him to be careful because their opponent is a highly formidable strength master. But Zhu Minglang has absolutely no fear, his gaze turning incredibly sharp. Too bad my Huck Bao does not eat humans. Otherwise, snacking on these idiots looking for death would have saved so much food. He raises his hand high, channeling his energy to summon He Ya. It appears with a majestic roar. Prince Lung grows furious, eyes wide and mouth open as he screams. You seriously think you can flex with just that dragon? Zhu Minglang scratches his head, looking bored, his calm face dripping with confidence. Dealing with you guys is way too easy. He Ya flashes a fierce and ferocious look, clearly showing nothing but pure contempt for them. That is right, total trash. Suddenly, the dragon spits right into his face. Prince Lung wipes his face, shaking with rage as he curses under his breath, damn it. His face completely contorts, eyebrows furrowed in absolute fury. Trung Ku, kill this dragon for me first. Trung Ku shows intense determination, screaming at the top of his lungs to gather all his strength. He focuses all his energy into his fist. Look at that monster. With glowing orange eyes and a jaw full of razor-sharp fangs, the ferocious He Ya charges forward at extreme speed. They crash together, Trung Ku's flaming fist slamming directly against He Ya's sharp teeth. His face twists in agony, filled with raw anger and ultimate grit. A roaring, desperate strike. Trung Ku punches He Ya straight in the face with everything he has. Those eyes flash crimson, looking right back with pure murderous intent. Raising its razor-sharp claws, the beast charges fiercely while wrapped in crackling lightning. Trung Ku just smirks with pure contempt, showing off a very smug, cocky expression. He channels everything into his next punch, eyes locked on the target, fire blazing hot around his arm. Zhu Minglang looks pretty tense and focused on the path ahead, warily calculating his opponent's next move. This is bad. This fighter uses his opponent's own force against them. He Ya is countered, so he immediately barks an order. He Ya, fall back. He reaches his hand forward, casting a green light with a highly focused look, giving a firm command. Next up is Thon Trak, sporting a pretty cold glare and a fierce look that radiates raw power. It opens its mouth to spit out a glowing orb. A stream of green energy shoots forward like a ribbon. The power twists and swirls through the air, winding tightly around the rough, rugged tree trunks nearby. Bright red leaves create a sharp contrast. As Thon Trak unleashes a devastating move, Trung Ku braces himself, struggling to hold his ground. He raises both arms to shield his face, grimacing in pain as he barely manages to hold on. Prince Lung's mouth hangs open, his brows furrowed in disappointment and disgust. He yells out absolutely useless. Trungbat, you are up next. The cold-faced man obeys, yes sir. Looking deadly serious, Trungbat channels force into his arm and punches the ground, cracking the earth and sending debris flying everywhere. Thon Trak quickly takes to the sky to dodge, soaring high as its eyes glow, prepping for its next attack. It swoops down with a roaring screech. Suddenly, thick vines wrap tightly around Trungbat, completely locking him in place. Then he gets slammed hard into the dirt, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. Huaivan steps up, blushing with deep admiration. She asks, Young Master Truk, do you have time to discuss dragon taming with my sister? Honestly, you can't even make this stuff up. Zhu Minglang is left totally speechless as the prince sends yet another fighter forward. What is so special about a dragon tamer? I have one too. Trung Thut, go. He begins summoning his dragon. A massive red dragon covered in sharp spikes suddenly appears on the battlefield. Crush that green dragon for me. Zhu Minglang turns to He Ya, his eyes filled with fierce determination and absolute confidence. He Ya, fighting head-on is your specialty, and I have given you armor. Charge in without fear. Gritting its teeth, its body fully covered in dark armor, He Ya charges. It sinks its sharp fangs deep into Thea Troy's leg without any hesitation. Groaning in agony, Thea Troy staggers from the painful bite, letting out a heavy, painful sigh. By now, Prince Lung is absolutely livid, his face twisted in rage as he barks another order. Go! Trung Luk, Trung Ngur, and Trung Tu attack together. They quickly try to obey, only to end up instantly crushed flat under the massive falling beast. Seeing this makes him cough up blood in fury. Yet, the stubborn prince still refuses to admit defeat. Damn it. If only I had brought Trung Tam today. Trung Nir and Trung Nyut. A useless loser like you would never stand a chance against me. Zhao Ngur leans in and whispers softly. If Prince Lung still had 3 powerful guards left, why did you leave them behind? Or are you just playing hard to get, secretly hoping to join Princess Lak Thui's court? He grimaces, narrowing his eyes in pure rage as the music swells. What if I am? She smirks mockingly. It is nothing, but I am afraid Prince Lung will have to swallow some bitter pride today. Zhu Minglang glares back, his sharp, icy eyes radiating the true authority of a leader. He tells Dahaya to dump that broken junk out of the hall, hating the medicine smell from that cruel machine. Heya looks back with glowing eyes, growling in agreement as he grabs the prince by his collar, making him scream out to let him go. If you dare lay a finger on me, I will have our 200,000 armored soldiers completely wipe out your 9 generations. Even your ancestors won't be spared from this. Then Heya flings the prince far away with incredible force, while the girls watch and gossip that since his subordinates cannot even fight, he is completely useless. Exactly. I wouldn't even want a useless punching bag like him, Yang, he says as she clings to Zhu Minglang, gently grabbing his robe. I am taking this Zhu Minglang, so you girls go choose someone else, she says, while Zhang. He cries in the background, wondering why she picked him. Didn't he just summon 2 simple dragons? To be honest, the strength of those 2 dragons isn't even equal to mine. Wu Feng pats his shoulder to comfort him, noting that just as young Master Liang said, the guy simply has a face women adore. Zhu Minglang cups his hands and bows, politely explaining his visit. My dear sisters, I only came here to visit your famous Dragon Girl Palace and see if there are any suitable dragon scales for me. Seeing that he has no intention of marriage, Yang He lowers her face in sadness, her voice sounding quite hurt. She sighs that someone like Zhu Minglang surely wants to enter the princess's palace, saying all men are like that, which makes him frown in awkwardness at her sad face. He admits that he indeed has that plan. But he only wants to pay a visit without any other intentions. She turns her face away to wipe a tear, bitterly thinking that all men use the exact same excuses, always eating from their bowl while staring greedily at the pot. Wu Feng cups his hands, carefully offering an explanation. With an apologetic look on his face, he explains they only wanted to visit the Miaoshan sword sect to exchange martial skills, but accidentally ran into their husband-seeking festival. He quickly adds that they actually do not even know how this husband-seeking selection is supposed to work. Jiao Yu watches them with an expressionless face, finally realizing that is how it is. She begins to explain the custom, telling them that every year during this time, many men enter the capital to visit prestigious families, grand sects, or even the common folks. Although the girls do not object, they will not choose a husband right away. Instead, they sit back and observe while the men go through various tests. If they take a liking to someone, they use a special ink to write the man's name on a maple leaf before sending it to the royal palace, sparking Wu Feng's curiosity. Sent to the palace? Yep, Jiao Yu nods with a smile, confirming it. If a man is truly outstanding, his name will appear on numerous maple leaves, which we call becoming an elite groom candidate. Smiling brightly with sharp eyes, she explains that after 7 days of gathering the leaves, they will bid prices to buy the husbands. The highest bidding family gets to take that man home, Hua Yun says as she gently touches Zhu Minglang, looking at him with pure affection. A multi-talented and handsome man like Zhu Minglang would surely be adored by almost all the noble ladies of high society. When the time comes, we might even have to fight against princesses and royal ladies just to win you over. He secretly finds it hard to believe that even noble princesses cannot escape this bizarre old custom, while Zhang He stares in absolute shock at the idea. Wait, isn't that just buying and selling men in broad daylight? Zhang, he asks as Hua Yun simply smiles. That way of putting it is not wrong, she confidently replies, explaining their proud tradition with supreme composure. But we ladies of the Miao Kingdom have some class. We never force men, so if you have no such intentions, you do not need to participate at all. It is not like we will tie you up and drag you here, she jokes, as Zhu Minglang looks away in deep thought. It seems this Miao Kingdom truly prioritizes women over men, leaving the guys with absolutely no freedom of choice. They can only sit and wait for someone to buy them. He turns back to her, quickly and smoothly changing the subject. Well, now that we know a bit about the husband-seeking process, perhaps we can discuss buying those dragon scales instead. Hua Yun steps forward, politely gesturing as she invites him, saying, of course, please follow me, Zhu Minglang. She holds up a decorated box, presenting the items inside while proudly asserting their great value. These are the dragon scales that your soul pearl and dragon pearl can buy. They are all in here. And clearing his throat, he simply says thank you. Suddenly, something catches Zhu Minglang's attention. He points at a glowing purple feather, asking what it is, which causes Hua Yun to gasp in admiration. Zhu Minglang truly has a great eye, she praises, explaining this is their Dragon Girl Palace's treasure, so look closely. She gently blows a breath of smoke toward it, making the tightly closed feather suddenly blossom open right under their watchful eyes. Zhu Minglang's eyes widen in shock as he realizes a single breath can turn this rigid feather completely soft. It changes shape at will, just like Bai Qi's fire ice feather, as Huayun raises her hand to explain it in detail. Meet the 10,000-year flying feather, a sacred spirit feather that can transform at will. Not only can it change shapes easily, but it can even shift into elements like fire or lightning. But unfortunately, we are not very good at gathering resources. By the time we got our hands on it, it was already damaged. He puts his hand to his chin, his eyes lighting up with real excitement as he recognizes a total masterpiece. This feather is incredibly lightweight and can freely adapt itself based on the feathers of Bai Qi. Using it to craft dragon armor is absolutely perfect. Zhu Minglang turns and asks her directly, "Can you sell this to me?" Huayvan smiles softly and reaches out to suggest a trade. "Well, let us see what you can offer me." He pulls out a glowing bright blue item. "Sister Din, what do you think of this?" She instantly recognizes it. The spiritual energy from this sacred fruit is so dense. Zhu Minglang smiles with determination in his eyes. Bai Qi has already eaten 2 of them anyway, so trading this one is quite a good deal. Huayvan accepts it with pleasure. This sacred fruit is incredibly rare for dragon maidens, so we have a deal. But if young Master Zhu Minglang agrees to hang out for a night with the older sisters, a good mood might get you half off. When she looks back up, the spot where he stood is totally empty. Wait, how did he even disappear that fast? She gasps, where did he go? Back in his room, Zhu Minglang unrolls the blueprint, analyzing it with a serious face. Everything is collected, and Nan Lingsha has finished the drawing. Should I just craft it right now? He wonders if any ritual is needed, maybe some kind of sacrifice, or losing a tiny item first to boost the chances of success. This rare material is a one-time deal. Failure is not an option. Zhu Minglang opens his door, deciding to do something. He should probably pay a visit to Mr. Karp first. After all, he is the mascot of our bamboo sect. Whenever we do anything sacred, we absolutely have to consult him. Stepping out into the courtyard, he looks all around, wondering why Mr. Karp is nowhere to be found. Surely he was not taken to the kitchen to be turned into soup. Zhu Minglang suddenly pauses, his eyes narrowing in deep thought. Wait, why am I putting my faith in this? Whether the armor making succeeds or not is a different story. Why not just ask Lady Tinhua to do a quick prophecy? He walks over to her room and knocks politely, asking if Lady Tinhua is inside. Tinhua opens the door, but her face turns red with shyness. She is currently wearing nothing but a towel wrapped around her body. Staring at this breathtaking view, his eyes fly wide open and yep, cue the massive, uncontrollable anime nosebleed. She stands holding the door, asking what is wrong. Master Zhu Minglang cannot look her in the eye anymore. His face flushed, he quickly explains his visit. Well, I am planning to forge a very rare dragon armor, but I am not familiar with the technique. The failure rate is pretty high, so I wanted to ask Lady Tinhua to perform a quick reading for me. He turns away, his face hot enough to produce steam. This is almost impossible to resist. She is clearly the exact same person as Li Yunzi. Why is heaven tormenting him like this? Thinking about all these overlapping relationships is incredibly frustrating, especially since Nan Lingsha and Li Yunzi are twins, and Nan Lingsha and Lady Vusa are the same person. This is literally 4 times the torment. I am not some monk with a heart of pure stone, you know? Tinhua tilts her head, looking at him with sad eyes. Master, I am sorry, I am not Li Yunzi. He stammers, feeling bad for making things awkward. No, I should be the one apologizing, he says. Tinhua quickly grabs her clothes hanging nearby. She puts them on, then turns back to give him some advice. If you do it on the coldest night of autumn, actually, you might just succeed. Zhu Minglang claps his hands together, his eyes and mouth hanging wide open as the realization hits him. Exactly. All the materials I am using have a bit of ice attribute. The temperature around me will definitely affect the success of the forging process. That is a brilliant idea. He cups his hands in gratitude, thanking her deeply for helping him with such a massive problem. Tinhua looks back with a gentle, soft gaze. With that settled, Zhu Minglang quickly bids her farewell and makes his exit. Lady Tinhua, I will take my leave now. She nods softly, telling him to go. Running away, Zhu Minglang wipes his bloody nose, his face still bright red. If he stayed any longer, he would have lost control. He needs to go gather those ice materials to cool down. Inside the quiet room, with everything neatly arranged, he holds a highly radiant, glowing object in his hands. Let us test this out, he says, putting the armor on Bai Qi. Does it fit? The dragon looks incredibly pleased. Bai Qi raises all 4 limbs, flapping his wings in pure excitement. He grins widely and lets out a happy cry. Yeah. Standing there, he calculates his next move. Tomorrow night, during the coldest hour, he must extract the ice rune from that legendary feather. Then, He will engrave it onto the completed dragon armor to boost its power. This is the ultimate make-or-break moment, so he should probably invite Master Sai over. The following night, the dark sky is illuminated by a full golden moon. Master Sai looks pretty annoyed to see him. "You little rascal, why did you summon me this late? I have absolutely zero interest in forging dragon armor. I have been traveling the world having a grand old time lately." Zhu Minglang chuckles nervously, then quickly gets down to business. "It is nothing really, I am just borrowing a bit of your immortal aura." He looks around and speaks with absolute seriousness, clarifying that he just wants some luck to forge his new armor. He channels his energy, pouring spiritual power into Fei Wu on the table. Time to start. Energy from the gem surges, flowing straight into Fei Wu. Sweat pours down Minglang's face as he begins to slowly explain. The 10,000-year-old Fei Wu contains a rune with 4 elements: lightning, candlelight, fire, and ice. Trying to extract just the ice rune is incredibly difficult. He waves his hand, unleashing a wave of magical energy. His eyes are intensely focused as he executes the technique. Fei Wu glows, completely surrounded by vibrant, swirling currents of many different colors. His face lights up with joy. "Perfect," he says. "The most difficult step is finally complete." Minglang quickly adds the necessary ingredients. Next, he just has to put the 5 parts wings, feathers, claws, torso, and tail into the furnace for the final synthesis. Resting his hands on the furnace, his eyes are full of anticipation. He wonders what kind of power the Longkai armor will show. An hour later, Minglang turns and calls out to Shengai, saying he is about to open the furnace. But before he can even finish, Shengai barks back at him. "Just open it already." Shengai snaps, "Do I really need to show you a trick? When a fish leaps through the sea, flowers bloom on both shores. I have my dignity. I am not some lucky charm." Minglang does not argue and simply nods. The moment he opens the lid, a glowing orb floats high into the air. Both he and Bai Qi watch it rise. Minglang feels a bit disappointed because usually, a legendary treasure shines brilliantly in all directions upon creation. But look at that, the Longkai armor shows no reaction. Did the rune carving fail? He knows he cannot judge by looks alone. "Never mind," he says. "We will only know if it is good once you wear it. So claim ownership first." Bai Qi closes his eyes tight and opens his mouth wide, sucking in bright, dazzling streams of blue light. Minglang furrows his brow, his eyes completely focused as he commands Bai Qi to transform into battle mode. Bai Qi glides gracefully, radiating immense intelligence and pride. Shimmering waves of blue and purple energy erupt around his body, swirling and wrapping him in pure power. The light is so blindingly intense that he has to shield his eyes, but this only makes him grin with joy. Wow, that blinding light means the rune engraving actually succeeded. He secretly thinks that looking at this, among the 5 parts, wings, feathers, claws, tail, and torso, at least one has worked. Even Shengai is staring in utter shock. It is actually a minor saint grade. He turns red with rage, wondering how a total amateur of a blacksmith could possibly forge a minor saint grade item. Could this great fish really possess some kind of supreme luck? Minglang brushes back his hair, smiling with smug satisfaction. This must be pure talent. I am a once-in-a-millennium genius. Whether it is swordplay, taming dragons, or blacksmithing, I can easily master it all. Shengai just looks depressed, finding his bragging absolutely sickening. "I think you just got lucky," he mutters. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door and calls out. "Zhu Minglang," she calls. He is quite surprised to see her. "Junior sister Wanfeng, is there a reason you came to find me?" Wanfeng happily delivers the good news. The 3 sect leaders and Songlin have agreed. Tomorrow, you can enter the Miaoshan sword sect. You have been so buried in forging these past few days that they worried you might miss the departure, so they sent me to inform you. She looks down at Minglang with genuine concern, advising him that he should get some proper rest before setting off. After all, the Miaoshan sword sect is highly hostile toward men. Not to mention, you are from the Jiaoshan sword sect, so you will likely face endless provocation from their swordmasters. He appreciates her concern, replying that he understands and thanks her. With that, Wanfeng leaves, and he walks over to close the door. Minglang feels absolutely overflowing with raw energy. "Excellent. Tomorrow is my chance to clear my name. I will show Wen Lingfei that I am no longer the useless little swordsman she once knew." Leaning close to Bai Qi, he reminds him of her, asking if he still remembers that incredibly arrogant, overbearing woman. Minglang strokes his chin in deep thought. While Wen Lingfei might reach Shui Yin's level of power in the future, right now, she is likely still lacking. With this saint-grade Longkai armor, Bai Qi can probably stand toe-to-toe with the high-ranking commanders. Then his face drops, his eyes closing in a wave of sadness. But none of that matters. The most important thing is securing the ancient jade lamp to save Li Yunzi. At the Miaoshan sword sect, Qinan points toward the long staircase, welcoming everyone to the base of the mountain and offering a detailed explanation. Our Miaoshan sword sect carves sword techniques and forms directly onto the Dengshan stairway, allowing you to study them as you ascend. Minglang strokes his chin and looks up. The last time he came here, he was so busy fighting that he barely noticed it. This Dengshan stairway is incredibly intricate, with each diverging path offering a chance to master a completely different style. While every path ultimately leads to the Miaoshan Sword Pavilion, some steps depict highly confusing moves designed to trap those who wander in. He looks up, scanning the distance as if expecting trouble already. Chinan calmly continues, offering a practical solution. If these sword manuals are of no use to you, Zhu Minglang, you can simply follow us directly up the mountain. Ngofong looks up at the mountain, his face filled with pure excitement. The Miaoshan sword sect is indeed incredibly deep, surely built on the lifelong dedication of countless seniors who turned this mountain path into a true way of the sword. It is just a test anyway, so there is no harm in trying it once. Tunbach and bows politely and says since that is the case, we will wait for you at the sword pavilion up there. With those words, the three of them fly straight up the mountain, leaving Zhu Minglang and his group down below. Ngofong points toward his own route, suggesting they all head out, and decides to take the main path right down the middle. Choosing his path, Zhu Minglang replies, "All right, I will take the left road." Before he leaves, Nan Lingsha warns him to wait, because the sword diagrams on his path contain illusions. Zhu Minglang just smiles, his eyes full of absolute confidence. As expected of a painter, Nan Lingsha noticed the trick with just a single glance. He turns back to ask carefully if failing to comprehend the sword intent means wandering this mountain path forever. Nan Lingsha grows incredibly serious, her eyes showing a deeply worried, warning look. Once you fail to realize the sword realm, you will strike blindly and might even descend into madness. Zhu Minglang chuckles without a hint of fear, proposing a race to see who reaches the summit first. She readily accepts the wager. "No problem," she says, using a clever riddle metaphor to show understanding true sword essence is completely different. It is basically like solving lantern riddles, where even non-swordsmen can understand the basic surface. But to truly comprehend the hidden sword realm inside is incredibly difficult. Covering one eye, he proposes an unexpected theory. "What if I just close my eyes and head straight up without looking at any diagrams?" She responds with a calm, thoughtful tone. "Of course you could climb up, but can you really resist such a powerful temptation? Besides, if you manage to comprehend the way of the sword on your journey, it will greatly help raise your overall cultivation level." Zhu Minglang looks incredibly confident and arrogant, his challenging gaze carrying a heavy hint of self-satisfaction. "To be honest, Nan Lingsha, my comprehension is definitely my strongest suit, even if other things are not. These sword manuals will not trouble me at all." Nan Lingsha flatly declares that he is no match for her. His eyes sharpen with an arrogant half-smile as his brow twitches. "Let us race to the top first then," he says. But she already dashes off at high speed. "I will wait for you at the sword pavilion," she calls out. Zhu Minglang just stands there with crossed arms, sweating slightly under all this sudden pressure. This painter sister-in-law is seriously proud, and there is no way I can lose. Up on a mountain clearing with drifting white clouds, Zhu Minglang sits by the path, resting and looking around him. He thought this climb would be a breeze, but nope, now he is totally stranded without a single soul in sight. Assessing the situation, he realizes these sword manuals actually hold quite a powerful magical effect. Even for someone with his level of sword realm, a tiny slip of attention could trap him in this illusion. Zhu Minglang walks over to peer down while considering his options, finding this challenge quite amusing. If his sword realm can genuinely improve through this test, then nothing could possibly be better. After all, the true power his sword star can unleash depends not just on the strength of the dragon sword spirit he can awaken, but also on his own sword realm. Wait, hold on, look at that. His dragon sword suddenly begins to react. Analyzing the situation, Zhu Minglang recalls Tunbach on saying all paths lead to the pavilion, meaning the Heavenscar manual road on the right is the way. But there is no way his dragon sword would react to that standard path. Looking closely at the left road among his three choices, he wonders if it is meant to deceive climbers or if it is a hidden path. He slowly steps onto the stairs. No, that cannot be right. The reaction from his dragon sword is never wrong, meaning something must be hidden here. Realizing something, his brow furrows as he grows incredibly serious. He quickly dashes up toward a specific pathway, confirming that this is indeed the right track. The connection with his dragon sword grows stronger, meaning he is getting closer. Within moments, he arrives at a spot and comes to a sudden halt. Zhu Minglang stands before a place thick with an incredibly powerful energy. Hands on his hips, he stares at the pile of blades, realizing it is the Miaoshan sword grave. Suddenly, the buried weapons burst into wild, raging flames. His own dragon sword is on fire. What is going on? Could a sword spirit be resting here too? The Jiaoshan and Miaoshan sword sects were originally one big family, but they split apart and fought a devastating, bloody war against each other. Countless master swordsmen fell back then, and so many legendary blades were destroyed. Zhu Minglang listens, completely taken aback. Do you know about this, Mr. Carp? He asks, as the old fish explains that each side built monuments to honor their founders. Years later, the Jiaoshan sect established the Sword Forest, while the Miaoshan sect created this sacred sword grave. The disciples of these sects might have long forgotten that earth-shattering battle, but these ancient swords still remember every single detail. Looking at everything, Zhu Minglang wonders if even when the seas dry up and mountains crumble, a victor still can't be decided. My old man once told me that a sword soul can only awaken under highly specific circumstances. The Nin Long sword holds the collective energy of the Jiao Son sword sect, so no wonder it resonates here, magnifying the obsession and will of the sword soul. Suddenly, a path opens up before Zhu Minglang, a stream of purple energy spilling out. Watch this, he steps forward without a single shred of hesitation. That raw magical energy surges past him like a violent gale, whipping his hair wildly. Zhu Minglang sees shadowy figures holding swords, their concentrated energy illuminating the entire mountainside. His eyes widen in complete shock as his face suddenly darkens. What is this, he wonders, but Exna appears to soothe him, telling him not to panic over a mere phantom projection. Zhu Minglang whips around to look at the specter. As the purple swordsmen shift into combat stances, he panics, wondering if this has turned into a straight-up ghost story. Flaming swords shoot straight through the air, hurtling directly toward those shadowy figures. Fiery embers clash against the purple energy as the phantom warriors raise their weapons to fight back. Suddenly, Zhu Minglang notices something about the blade. It seems the intense battle has activated the fire-silver inscription, sending waves of raw power violently erupting from the weapon. Enveloped in raging flames, the blade reveals itself to be the Underworld inscription, the legendary Underworld Sword. Smirking with absolute satisfaction, Zhu Minglang wonders which inscriptions will awaken next, after already unlocking the Jade Blood, Fire Silver, and Underworld Swords. Meanwhile, over at the Huknyurt Sword Pavilion of the Miaoshan Sword Sect, Ngofong is celebrating, thinking he is the first to reach the summit tent. But as he arrives, 3 people already lounging inside politely invite him to join them. Stepping inside, he clasps his hands respectfully, asking if he was indeed the very first to conquer the climb. He wonders if his speed beat the records of previous visitors, but Tunan simply points toward the back of the tent. Nan Lingsha is sitting there, totally relaxed, as Tunan notes that they do not get many visitors here. Past records aside, this young lady arrived quite a bit faster than you, leaving Ungo Fong completely dumbfounded. Nan Lingsha is clearly not a swordmaster, yet she grasped the manual on the stairs better than him. Truly impressive. Just then, a young woman from the Jiaoshan sword sect arrives, and Tunan warmly welcomes her inside. This leaves Ingo Fong totally baffled. Young Theodon is far weaker than him, and her seniority in the sect is much lower. Why is she getting VIP treatment in the tent, while he sits outside? Is the gender double standard really this bad? As the midday sun beats down mercilessly, Van Trungha finally makes it to the peak, introducing himself with a polite bow. Tunan barely gives him a glance, pointing toward the scorching hot edge of the tent, telling him to sit out there. Following Tunan's hand, he sees his senior martial uncle already sweating out there, leaving him utterly speechless. Van Trungha can't help but complain, telling his uncle they traveled thousands of miles and struggled hard just to get up here. Yet this Miaoshan sword sect treats them like complete garbage, while giving Theodwan a lavish, warm welcome right before their eyes. Furious, Van Trungha wants to stand up and demand some respect. Just because they are men, they don't even get a single drop of water in this heat. It is pure discrimination, and he wonders when men will finally stand up. No Fong quickly holds him back, urging him to calm down and not cause a scene. Suddenly remembering, Van Trungha turns to ask about Zhu Minglang, wondering if the guy got lost on the way up. No Fong snorts, noting that since Zhu Minglang lost his cultivation, studying the manuals must be exhausting. But half an hour later, Zhu Minglang finally arrives at the summit. He stands there with his arms crossed, looking incredibly cool and majestic, while Ingo Fong and Van Trungha are practically melting in their own sweat. Zhu Minglang stares at them, looking like 2 dried fish leaning against each other for support. Hallmaster Lam approaches and politely invites him to sit inside, but Zhu Minglang just closes his eyes in silence. Instead, Zhu Minglang walks straight past her, shocking everyone. A young sword maiden quickly snaps, telling him men are strictly forbidden inside. But Zhu Minglang casually fires back, telling her that they can make whatever rules they want, but obeying them is his choice. The young sword maiden screams in anger, asking why he is being so rude. He casually sits down right next to Nan Lingsha, calmly pointing out that even their senior disciples treat him with respect, so a mere young maiden has no right to order him around. Hallmaster Lam flares up in anger, shouting that this is the Miaoshan sword sect, and they will not tolerate an insolent man acting so boldly. But before she can finish, Zhu Minglang's icy glare chokes the words right out of her throat. Outside, No Fong and Van Trungha watch in absolute awe. Wow, he is absolutely savage. Realizing she cannot intimidate Zhu Minglang, she turns her rage onto Ngofeng instead. She snaps at Ngofeng, asking if his sect's disciples are always this completely undisciplined, demanding to know why he doesn't control them. "This is my junior brother Zhu Minglang, not a disciple," he replies, while silently thinking that even the old sword patriarch can't control him, so why should he bother trying? Seeing absolutely no one follow her orders, Hallmaster Lam gets furious and demands to challenge him. "Our rules have been passed down for 1,000 years, and until they are settled, we will not hold any swordsmanship exchanges." Zhu Minglang scoffed some boring, ancient sword style with zero real-world use is not even worth discussing. Zhu Minglang calmly says, "You lot just hide away in deep woods all day, which is why you useless sword girls stall in place, arrogantly believing you are geniuses, simply because you rarely step into the real world." Hallmaster Lam feels Zhu Minglang seriously overestimates himself and tries to threaten him. Such arrogant words, "You are only the second person in recent years to speak so wildly before our Mu Sun sword sect." He casually glances at her and asks, "So who was the first?" Hallmaster Lam coldly retorts, "Years ago, a young brat of a swordmaster dared to trespass into our mountain gate, and he only left unharmed because he was the son of Sect Master Marn. But you will not be so lucky." He chuckles softly, "Hate to break it to you, but the guy who stormed your mountain back then was me." Hallmaster Lam gasps, "What?" "Zhu Minglang." Two young disciples whisper, "Wait, Zhu Minglang. I remember that name now. Is he actually Sect Master Marnch's son?" "It really is him. Word is he broke into our forest several years ago, taking down every single disciple alone until Wen Lingfei finally stepped in and kicked him down the mountain. Otherwise we would have lost all our pride." Hallmaster Lam swallows her rage, closes her eyes, and turns to Ngofeng. "Hallmaster Ngofeng, since he is your junior brother and belongs to my generation, then testing the swordsmanship of your Jiao Sun sect while taking the chance to teach him the proper rules of our Mu Sun sect should be perfectly fine, right?" Hearing this, Zhu Minglang grows pretty annoyed at how arrogant this nun is acting. "Let me, Zhu Minglang, teach you the real rules of this world. The weak must bow, and the strong shall rule." Hearing his wild claim, she wears a twisted smile. "The weak must bow, and the strong shall rule. Is that so? Very well then. Look at this dramatic move." She leaps back into a battle stance, demanding a fight. Zhu Minglang just casually walks out, completely unfazed. He stretches his arms matching blades with an elite swordsman, "Like me will surely be quite a lesson for you." "Ready for battle?" Hallmaster Lam spits back, "You are getting a bit too full of yourself." Before Zhu Minglang can even react, Hallmaster Lam thrusts her blade and charges straight at him, "Face my sword." Zhu Minglang easily blocks the strike, raising an eyebrow outside your borders. "Outstanding men like me are usually quite gentlemanly, but since you are a lady, I will let you realize how far below my level you really are." Panic washes over her. Zhu Minglang sets a term, "If your sword can force me to move even half a step, I will gladly admit defeat." Hallmaster Lam slides back, her blade kicking up dust, absolutely fuming over that condescending remark about her being a woman. He reminds himself how humiliating it was when Wen Lingfei kicked him out last time, so he has to act totally wild to clear his name. It is also high time to force these arrogant Mu San sword sect women to show men some respect. He lets out a powerful roar break. Determined to win, Hallmaster Lam charges forward with a rapid swipe of her blade. She wants to see how this loudmouth show-off plans to survive her blade, but Zhu Minglang casually sidesteps the attack. "Your simple sword techniques carved on the stairs. I actually picked up a few moves on my way up. And we all know this is supposed to be a friendly match between the two major sword sects. I honestly do not think you are qualified to witness our Jiaosun style." He raises two fingers, summoning his sword. Makta immediately appears, answering his call. Struggling hard to defend, Hallmaster Lam keeps wondering how this is even possible. Even our sect's top experts who master hidden sword arts still leave behind some trace when striking from the dark. So why can I not sense even a single tiny hint of his actual blade? Could he have already reached the legendary sword shadow realm? Tunan coughs slightly to hide his growing embarrassment. Hallmaster Lam, he is not using a flying sword technique. He just recalled his dragon sword spirit back to his spirit realm. Trung Ha cracks up, holding his stomach. Zhu Minglang is so sly, shouting so loudly like he was about to unleash some ultimate move. Ngofeng also chuckles, covering his mouth. "This is too much. Junior brother Truk is such a troll, I can barely hold my laughter." Zhu Minglang actually abandoned his sword cultivation, and he is currently a dragon tamer. Hallmaster Lam, the flying sword he controls, is a rare sword spirit that transformed into a dragon, and by linking with his mind, it can copy almost any flying sword style. Getting defensive, Hallmaster Lam snarls in pure frustration. Zhu Minglang raises his hand, and Makta slowly glides out from his dragon realm that was just a warm-up. "Now let us see your true Myosan sword style." Losing all her patience, Hallmaster Lam thrusts her blade straight forward. Calling his skills cheap tricks, she sneers that their sect's flying sword techniques are far too profound for a newly arrived brat like him. For him to think he can actually master their true essence is nothing short of absolutely hilarious. Zhu Minglang just stands there calmly with his arms crossed, muttering about her shallow mind and telling her to watch his firefly sword closely to see if it is authentic. Behind him, Makta conjures thousands of glowing blades, creating an incredibly imposing sight before they all rain down heavily on Hallmaster Lam. Look at her face! Hallmaster Lam grits her teeth in utter disbelief, recognizing the legendary firefly sword technique at its absolute peak. Inside the tent, even the two young sword mistresses gasp in shock, realizing that Zhu Minglang's Ninlong sword seems to have grown even stronger. Could he really have reached this insane tier of the firefly sword style just by studying the manuals carved on the mountain stairs? Such comprehension is truly hard to believe. Then boom! A massive explosion erupts, sending a giant cloud of smoke into the sky. Confident in his victory, he boasts that Makta has devoured all the ancient blades in the Musan sword graveyard, putting his Ninlong sword on par with warlord rank. He adds that mastering this simple style is child's play, then warns Hallmaster Lam to stay alert because he is about to unleash a real technique. Still stubborn, Hallmaster Lam calls him a boasting brat and snaps that nobody is afraid. But looking down, her face immediately turns bright red, and she quickly uses her hands to cover her body, now barely held together by shredded rags. Sitting back in the tent, Zhu Minglang rests his chin on his hand, asking if he can finally sit wherever he wants now, leaving the embarrassed and furious Hallmaster completely speechless. His gaze turns quite cold as he addresses Wen Lingfei directly. He calmly says he did not come here to challenge a bunch of nameless nobodies, leaving Hallmaster Lam on the verge of tears. Being called a nameless nobody is absolutely brutal, like being bullied beyond any reason. Removing her veil to reveal a breathtakingly beautiful face, Wen Lingfei states that since he already abandoned the path of a sword cultivator, there is no need for them to compete, making Zhu Minglang's eyes widen in shock. He wonders how Wen Lingfei could have already become the leader of the Musan sect, while she silently recalls a familiar figure and continues speaking. She adds that the only person in her mind worthy of matching her skills is his master, Truk Tuet Ngon. Frustrated at being so easily dismissed, he feels the sting of her words before a sudden realization flashes through his mind. He recalls that the Musan sect has 3 leaders in total, one of whom is likely away traveling the world. The second is his own mother, currently meditating in isolation by a distant waterfall inside the sect, and the third is Wen Lingfei right here. Glancing at Wen Lingfei, he realizes that the place where the sacred jade is kept must be completely unguarded by any top-tier masters. He whispers his plan to Nan Lingsha, telling her to find the right moment to distract everyone so he can sneak off and steal the jade. But just then, Ngo Fong speaks up, asking if the sword duel can finally begin now that sect leader Wen Lingfei has arrived. Wen Lingfei immediately agrees, saying of course. Radiating a calm elegance, she asks if they can demonstrate their signature 17 sword echoes, but Ngo Fong quickly shakes his head and waves his hands in refusal. He declines, explaining that although he belongs to the sword fighting school, the moves he practices do not belong to that particular technique. Instead, he suggests letting his junior brother step forward to showcase his skills for everyone present. Honestly, you have to feel for the guy he is just trying to sneak away, and his teammate completely ruins it. He quickly refuses, claiming he has no cultivation to show them anyway. But Ngo Fong has absolute faith in his junior, saying a simple demonstration is fine, prompting Wen Lingfei to ask how many sword echoes he can unleash. Ngo Fong boasts he can probably pull off 12 echoes, looking at Zhu Minglang with high hopes. He tells his junior that this is his chance to shine, especially since Wen Lingfei is looking down on him. He urges him to show off, while the young sword mistresses look at Zhu Minglang in sheer admiration, forcing him to quickly wave his hands. He argues that showing off empty forms is pointless, and while he keeps a polite smile on his face, he is cursing Ngo Fong internally. Annoyed at his teammate, he sighs in relief as Nan Lingsha steps up to take the challenge instead. Grateful for her help, he looks at her with deep appreciation, while a skeptical Wen Lingfei questions her, only for a bystander to explain her identity. They reveal that Nan Lingsha once used her incredible painting skills to unleash the sword echoes and defeat Von Trungha. Accepting the duel, Wen Lingfei calmly invites Nan Lingsha to show them what she can do. Nan Lingsha summons her brush, letting it spin gracefully in the air as a mystical purple glow radiates from its body. Stepping into the center, she raises her hand and sweeps it gently, sending waves of powerful spiritual energy swirling around her, leaving the crowd in absolute awe. Taking advantage of the distraction, Zhu Minglang quietly slips away to the base of a tall tower. Thrilled to find the spot so easily, he notes how incredibly weak the sect's security is, leaving a treasure completely unguarded, as if heaven itself is helping him. Bai Qi gently flies up to the tower top, circling around him. Zhu Minglang approaches the jade, proudly folding his arms. He reaches out to take the jade and complete the swap. But before his hand can even touch it, A sudden massive tremor violently shakes the tower and throws him completely off balance. Look at that, Zhu Minglang watches from afar as Nan Lingsha's massive power erupts into the sky. Stunned, he blurts out in total disbelief that his sister-in-law is actually this incredibly fierce. Realizing her performance is almost over, Zhu Minglang knows he needs to hurry. He leaps off the tower top alongside Bai Qi. He tells Bai Qi, "Let's retreat." The beast grows massive, taking him on its back and flying away. Under the clear blue sky, Nan Lingsha finally wraps up her performance. She lets out a soft sigh, gently raising her hand to wipe away the sweat dripping down her forehead. The crowd claps endlessly, amazed by her talent. Suddenly, a very different kind of clapping echoes through the air. Everyone turns in surprise, only to see Zhu Minglang has returned, enthusiastically clapping his hands for Nan Lingsha. He praises her out loud that Zhao San's sword sect style is truly unmatched. Meanwhile, she wipes her face, letting out a quiet sigh of relief. Relieved she held her form, Wen Lingfei speaks up in absolute admiration of Nan Lingsha's skills. Standing nearby, Zhu Minglang smugly thinks to himself that he uses that exact swordplay too. Both Inzhou Feng and Trungha stand completely stunned by Nan Lingsha's sheer power. In their entire sect, the masters capable of executing more than 10 sword strikes can be counted on one hand. This girl is just a painter who observed their formation for a few days, yet she just pulled off 12 strikes. How is anyone supposed to compete with that? She is a total monster. Honestly, both she and Zhu Minglang are absolute freaks. He turns to her, excitedly noting how she went from barely using 4 sword strikes to pulling off 12 in a single breath. At this rate, probably no mortal domain in the entire world can stand in her way. Closing her eyes, she ignores his praise and quietly points out that he lost. Still, Zhu Minglang plays dumb. What? Are they talking about who reached the summit first? He chuckles awkwardly, admitting that he indeed lost. He claims he got held up after wandering into a tomb that devours sword souls. Internally, he comforts himself, thinking there is really no shame in losing to his talented painter sister-in-law. Besides, the stronger these divine mortals get, the more they just feel like overworked servants. Up on stage, a loud voice announces it is now time for the Miaoshan sword sect to perform. As the sun begins to set, the fading light paints the entire sky in a beautiful golden hue. High on the mountain, Zhu Minglang and Nan Lingsha prepare to leave, thanking Wen Lingfei for letting them watch and learn so much today. In a few days, they hope to send some disciples over to the Zhao San sword sect to learn from their masters, expressing deep gratitude for all their open guidance. Bowing respectfully, the two note that since night is quickly falling and they respect the Miaoshan rules, they will make their way down the mountain first. But Wen Lingfei offers to let them stay, stating that rules are human-made and their sect has been far too isolated for years. Ever since she took charge, she has been changing things step by step. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang's face completely warps with worry. Wait, what? She wants them to stay the night? No way. Having just stolen the precious core jade, he needs to slip away immediately. Sleeping over is out of the question. One of the younger female disciples immediately objects, reminding the leader that they have never allowed men to stay overnight before. Wen Lingfei shakes her head as darkness settles in. The visiting masters have been practicing all day and must be completely exhausted, so forcing them down the mountain right now would be highly unreasonable and outdated. Stroking his chin, Zhu Minglang realizes Wen Lingfei is nothing like her disciples, meaning he has to try a completely different approach to get kicked out. Get ready for this, he forces a creepy, perverted grin, boasting about how staying the night is fantastic. He claims he always heard the ladies of Miaoshan smell incredibly sweet, and that even sitting near them is enough to drive a man wild. Imagine them after a fresh bath. This will finally fulfill his ultimate dream of spending a wild night right here at the sect. Disgusted by his words, the female disciples instantly demand his expulsion, wondering how their leader could ever let such a pervert stay. They label him a filthy scoundrel who only came here with bad intentions, urging that the group be kicked out immediately. Bowing an apology, Enjo Fong assures Wen Lingfei that the men of the Wu Kingdom are true gentlemen of high standards. He promises they will never cross the line, but kindly adds that if the ladies ever decide to visit Jiao Son, they will be warmly welcomed. Nan Lingsha quietly admires his grace, noting that if the other masters in their sect possessed his level of class, their pure state of mind would easily surpass that of the arrogant female disciples of this very mountain. Still, keeping up his ridiculous act, Zhu Minglang grabs Engo Fong's shoulder, telling his senior to drop the polite gentleman routine. He jokes that if they tell the other hall leaders they stayed the night at Miaoshan, everyone back home will be green with envy. He begs Wen Lingfei to reconsider, teasingly shouting that they really do want to spend the night. Mortified by the display, Fu Dong quickly steps in to drag him away, pleading with his young uncle not to voice his embarrassing inner desires. So embarrassing, but Zhu Minglang does not see it that way. What is so embarrassing anyway? Gentle ladies are desired by gentlemen, so did not those men travel thousands of miles to Mu Kingdom just to chase women? Hearing these ridiculous words, the young sword maidens show clear disgust, and Ling Fei's face goes completely dark. Then let the spiritual birds we raised carry everyone down the mountain to return home. Simple as that. Miaofeng says his final goodbye, promising not to disturb their rest anymore, as a young sword maiden whispers to Ling Fei. As Zhu Minglang strolls away, she suddenly calls him back, telling him he must stay. Panicking, he worries they might have caught him. No way they found out so fast. Zhu Minglang keeps acting. Has Sectmaster Own changed her mind? Amazing. He says I wanted to discuss swordsmanship with all the sisters tonight. Ling Fei calmly replies, Sectmaster Marn requests your presence. Upon hearing this, he immediately gets serious. Has his mother finally remembered him? His precious son. Inside a small cottage by the waterfall, Beng Tu coldly demands answers, asking what exactly he wants with the divine jade. Zhu Minglang looks at his mother blankly, realizing he can never hide anything from her sharp eyes. Showing no joy in seeing his mother, he coldly answers to save someone. Beng Tu lets him keep the jade, but on one condition. She wants him to do something for her instead. Zhu Minglang looks at her, highly confused. What is it? Now watch this. His mother is completely serious when she orders him to marry into the royal family as Princess Lak Thui's husband. A total bolt from the blue. A forced marriage? Why on earth should he sell out his handsome, dashing looks like this? He quickly rushes over to grab her leg. Pleading, Mother. The person I marry is your own son's wife. Beng Tu remains cold, stating as long as you marry in, whether you bond with Princess Lak Thui is your choice. He can barely smile, secretly planning to marry her first and then escape. Why does this feel like his mother's usual trick? Still, he tries to argue that's not right, it goes against morals. His mother waves him off, refusing to listen to his excuses. Train in the mountains for 10 years, I will supervise you. He curses his heartless mother, realizing why even his sweet-talking father could never handle her. Glancing out the window, he schemes the prize is in his hands. He just needs to escape the Mu Mountain Sword Sect. Like a squirrel, he leaps out. Goodbye, Mother. I am leaving today. Beng Tu ignores him and casts a spell, making Zhu Minglang scream in absolute horror. Look at that. A massive water sword suddenly points straight at his chest, making him instantly freeze. Damn. Her cultivation level is just completely unreal. Escaping is impossible. He slowly walks back inside with a massive smile, pretending nothing ever happened. Hey Mom, I am back. Beng Tu turns away, sips her tea, and says marry into her family, keep the jade, and the sect will overlook your theft. Our hero negotiates, can I just be her husband in name, but not actually do anything? She agrees to this. He mischievously smiles, then we have no problem. His mother turns back to remind him, once it is done, I will tell you where the remaining divine ancient lantern jade is. He quickly agrees. He wonders why his mother, who usually ignores worldly affairs, cares so much about Princess Lak Thui. Is there something special about her? She stands up and waves, telling Han Vor to escort Master Chuk down the mountain. Arriving at the capital of Mio Kingdom, Zhu Minglang glances back at Han Vor. At the inn, he asks if she is ever going back. They walk inside side by side. Before she can even finish speaking, he cuts her off. We are basically family. Can we not have some basic trust? He quickly calls the innkeeper, get me a single room. Just one. Feeling totally depressed, Zhu Minglang meets Verjia and Tin Huar, who ask why he looks so completely miserable. Holding his forehead, he sighs, my mother wants me to marry Princess Lak Thui, but I do not have to actually consummate the marriage. The Mu Mountain Sword Sect will completely overlook the theft, and she will even reveal the next jade's location. Verjia cheers, saying that is amazing news. Zhu Minglang asks Tin Huar Li Yunzi needs at least 4 divine ancient lantern jades to recover. What does one of these ancient jades actually do? She rubs her chin thoughtfully before answering. It is quite clear that Li Yunzi has not only recovered, but her cultivation seems to have drastically improved. I think grandmother sent us for the divine ancient lantern jade because it can boost our cultivation. Zhu Minglang must sacrifice himself for the greater good. Fine then, I will visit her tomorrow. But you guys must witness this. Seriously. This is purely for the divine ancient lantern jade. Absolutely not, because I want Princess Lak Thui's beauty. Vorsa gets incredibly excited. Behave yourself these next few days. The women in Mu Kingdom are extremely picky. Zhu Minglang starts acting immediately. Do not worry, Lady Vorsa. Other men might be outstanding, but they are just tiny fireflies compared to your future brother-in-law here. Like a bright moon shining over all of Juzhou, there is not a single girl in Huaishan who is not madly infatuated. When that day comes, Lady Yusha must control herself well and not fall head over heels. After all, we will see each other all the time, and I really would hate to break your sweet little heart. Stunned by his incredibly cheesy act, she thinks she has never seen anyone this thick-skinned before. Yusha plays along with a playful threat. If you dare stare at me again, she warns, I will gouge your eyes out. He quickly defends himself, explaining he is only searching for Yunzi because he misses her. They bicker back and forth as she snaps that calling her a substitute makes him a total traitor. Watching this, Xinghua feels a sudden wave of nostalgia, as if she has actually witnessed this exact playful bickering before. The happiness shining in her eyes feels like some ancient prophecy is silently slipping out of her hands. Meanwhile, a massive crowd gathers outside the princess's manor. A maid calls out to the restless crowd, announcing that the princess is choosing a husband today, so everyone needs to stay calm. She instructs them to present their invitations to enter. But get this suddenly. Brilliant green wings erupt across the sky. Zhu Minglang swoops down, telling everyone to step aside. The crowd stares in utter confusion before a maid grumbles, wondering which arrogant rich brat dares to show off in front of the princess's residence. Doesn't he know the princess hates show-offs? Word is, he is some rich kid straight from the imperial capital. But so what? Any man stepping foot into the state of Miao must learn to show some proper respect. He steps down and respectfully introduces himself as Zhu Minglang of the Zhu clan. Suddenly, an angry man behind him points a fan and snaps. Have you no manners? Our master, Shu Gongshan, submitted his card first. So get in the back of the line where you belong. Zhu Minglang turns back with a cold glare, asking who this nobody Shu Gongshan is, before ordering Meng Hanwu to throw him and his guards out. She silently fumes, wondering if this brat Zhu Minglang thinks she is his personal mercenary, but he quickly leans in and whispers to her, I am doing my best to secure this marriage, so just play along. If you mess this up, how are you going to explain it to your mother? She stays quiet, her eyes turning freezing cold as she unsheathes her blade. Meng Hanwu swings, mulm of blinding blue energy tearing through the air directly at the offender, barked with a single command to get lost. She calmly sheathes her sword while Zhu Minglang stands there like nothing happened. A bystander gasps, realizing she is a swordmaster of Miaoshan's sword sect. Why is a legendary swordmaster acting as a mere bodyguard for this Zhu clan kid? What a monster. Poor Shu Gongshan got kicked out before even getting inside. Meng Hanwu then coldly asks the crowd if anyone else dares to stop them. Silence falls over the terrified crowd. Zhu Minglang waves his hand, ordering Meng Hanwu to guard the entrance and sweep away anyone trying to follow them. She remains silent, utterly ignoring him. The maid quickly steps forward, warning him that Princess Luo Shui will not be happy with this. Zhu Minglang turns to her, asking if she is the princess. When she replies that she is obviously not, he turns around and asks why she is acting like she runs the place. Doesn't the princess love peace and quiet? I am simply giving her the quietest recruitment day she could ever ask for. Besides, if anyone can actually defeat my bodyguard, they are more than welcome to step inside and compete against me. Huffing in anger, she heads inside to ask the princess for instructions, telling the other servants to escort the young master and his guest inside. They quickly obey. Meanwhile, the maid fumes, cursing this useless, arrogant rich brat who just arrived from the imperial capital. Just wait until the princess puts you in your place. Inside, she announces that since the princess loves poetry, they must write one. While waiting, everyone should compose a poem to serve as a first impression. Zhu Minglang bites his pen, realizing this is a test of literary talent. It seems Princess Luo Shui wants to filter out all the uneducated, useless, wealthy brats who do not even know how to write. He begins drafting, confident that while he is no legendary poet, he can at least manage something. Suddenly, he glances at the man next to him and freezes. Even though it is just ink on paper, the man's writing radiates an overwhelming aura of crouching tigers and soaring dragons, laced with some bizarre, supernatural power. Could this be a divine mortal? Zhu Minglang keeps observing, his gaze shifting to the mysterious competitor standing directly to his left. He is merely an attendant, yet he is already a highly powerful dragon master. Since he seems completely unfathomable, a little probing is definitely in order. He speaks up, asking this older man why someone of his age is competing for the princess. The man sighs, admitting it is rather embarrassing. He explains he was always too busy with state affairs to marry, and now that his nation is finally stable, he wanted to travel. While visiting Miao, he decided to test his luck. Zhu Minglang respectfully introduces himself, asking for the elder's name. He bows, introducing himself as Tu Wensha of the state of Tu. Zhu Minglang admits he has never heard of it. Tu Wensha replies that it is perfectly normal for him not to know. I just changed the state name. Honestly, my learning is pretty shallow, so I couldn't think of anything elegant, so I named it after my surname. Zhu Minglang thinks to himself, wow, this guy is pretty bold to name an entire nation after his own family. He must be a state hunter. These are the state hunters among the dragon tamers. He continues, saying there are rumors of elite dragon tamer groups in the Jiting dynasty who travel through major nations, capturing fortresses left and right to occupy territories. Zhu Minglang explains they plot coups, eventually stealing the entire country for themselves. He speaks up, those who steal a hook are punished, but those who steal a nation become its rulers. Zhu Minglang adds that some state hunters actually bring great order to chaotic lands after conquering them. On the other hand, Some of them completely strip every single resource and simply walk away, leaving the country to slowly fall into complete ruin. He thinks to himself, no wonder even the guard next to this man gives off such an incredibly heavy pressure. Now think about it, even legendary state hunters are actually showing up for this race. He ponders, is this son-in-law contest really supposed to be this cutthroat? Just then, sect leader Ngiem Uyen storms in, yelling for the Zhu sect guy. He enters dripping with murderous intent, but Zhu Minglang calmly bows, offering a polite, that would be me. Ngiem Uyen sneers as he walks in, telling him to hire a stronger gatekeeper next time. Han Vu stomps over, furiously yelling for him to come out and fight again. Looking closely at him, he realizes this guy actually managed to defeat the fierce Lady Han. He is seriously strong, and this whole competition is getting pretty wild. Zhu Minglang glances at her, saying to just let it go since the guy clearly has skills. Han Vu snaps back, asking what it has to do with him. Ngiem Uyen just salutes, telling her to go back to her mountain to train because her swordplay is still pretty rough. Actually, do not train anymore since you are already ice cold, lacking all feminine charm, and training more might make you lose your humanity entirely. Han Vu fumes while Zhu Minglang secretly agrees that the jerk kind of has a point. Zhu Minglang steps up, putting a hand on her shoulder and saying, hey, even if you view him as a rival, he does not even see you as human, so why bother keeping this up? Han Vu agrees and decides to just ignore the guy. Ngiem Uyen introduces himself as a sect leader, demanding the Zhu sect guy write him a poem so he will overlook the whole gate-blocking incident. He chuckles at the sheer absurdity, wondering what the point of a poetry contest even is as he begins writing. This sect leader only knows how to use fists, not a brush. The man angrily yells, asking if he will write or not. He remains silent, simply holding up the paper to show a massive "Get Lost" written on it. Furious, the leader throws a punch, screaming if he wants to die. He asks sarcastically if the brute actually knows how to read. Right then, a maid demands quiet, warning them not to fight inside the princess's estate. Ngiem Uyen backs down immediately. She then announces that it is time to submit all their scrolls. An hour later, the maid calls out a few select names to stay and meet the princess, while everyone else is dismissed to wait for the final duel. Inside the study, the young masters gather to wait for the final results. Zhu Minglang is quite relieved that the scary state hunter did not make the cut, though a scholar-looking guy somehow did. Maybe that guy had actual literary talent, but Zhu Minglang only scribbled a mediocre poem and somehow got picked too. What is going on here? The maid then announces that the princess has arrived, asking everyone to wait quietly. She gently pulls the curtain aside, revealing the veiled princess who begins pouring tea for her guests. The maid serves the cups individually, while Princess Lak Thui warmly invites everyone to enjoy their tea. They thank her in unison. Lak Thui then looks straight at Zhu Minglang, praising his excellent swordplay, beautiful poetry, and exceptionally elegant calligraphy. He is quite stunned. Is she talking about him? How does she even know about his swordplay? Lak Thui continues, recalling his words back at the sword sect about how the weak must bow while the strong rule, which left a pretty deep impression on her. He realizes she was actually there that day. Lak Thui explains that the legendary sword debate between the two top sects is something she simply could not miss. Since it only happens once every 10 years, she had to go. But then, she asks him, since he already has such a gorgeous woman by his side, why even bother coming to her humble manor? Zhu Minglang immediately wonders if she is talking about Nam Nin Sa. Oh man, he is in deep trouble now. She definitely thinks he is a playboy. Lak Thui secretly believes that women from her land absolutely despise unfaithful men, and playboys like him deserve nothing but pure scorn. He quickly tries to clear the air, telling Princess Lak Thui that the female painter is actually just a special member of his Dragon Tamer team. Zhu Minglang adds that their relationship is strictly professional and completely innocent. The princess softly replies that even some noble ladies with unique tastes admitted to being totally charmed by her that day. She suggests that beneath her veil, the painter must have an incredibly stunning face, right? Walking beside her, has his heart really never skipped a beat? Zhu Minglang points out that if he actually had feelings for her, he would not even be standing here. Lak Thui agrees. She bids him farewell, wishing him luck until the final tournament day, admitting she is pretty tired, and dismissing everyone. Confused, he asks for clarification, prompting Princess Luo Shui to explain that this custom is known as the groom buying day. When the time comes, every man competing must ascend the public stage, where the women below will bid on them, and the highest bidder wins the groom. Zhu Minglang whispers, is not this just a blatant auction for men? But Han Yu simply replies, well, you can always choose not to participate. Deng Han coughs, saying, how could I do that? I promised my mother, and I am definitely a man of my word. Suddenly, a loud voice echoes across the stage in front of the royal palace, welcoming everyone. With the flowers in full bloom, our autumn groom buying festival is officially open, announces the lively host, Yu Yu. She urges the ladies to cheer, as the outstanding bachelors take the stage to show off their charm, and the massive crowd of excited women eagerly responds. She continues, saying, "All right. Next up, let us welcome the highly anticipated groom of the day. Please welcome young Master Zhu to the stage," she calls out, as Zhu Minglang steps forward. He walks onto the stage and looks down, amazed by the massive crowd, while Yu tells him not to worry since he will definitely fetch a high price. Left completely speechless, he sighs, while a woman in the crowd shouts, "Zhu Minglang, I will definitely buy you." Two young ladies below stare at him intensely, prompting a woman nearby to tease them about their taste for fresh young hunks. She claims she still prefers refined and gentle, older gentlemen, warning them not to compete with her when Duenxia finally takes the stage. Another lady yells, "I bid an entire honey city for young master Zhu Minglang, which produces thousands of barrels and brings in 100,000 gold coins a year. He is my absolute favorite, so please, my dear sisters, show some mercy and do not outbid me." A wealthy marquis scoffs, "Did you say he is your favorite? But sister, is that not a bit too stingy for someone as handsome as him? I bid an entire red diamond mine, easily worth 500,000 gold coins. Miss Hua declares young Master Zhu must visit our Dragon Maiden Pavilion first, and today, I want to see who dares compete with the wealthy Hua family. No matter what others offer, I will top it by 200,000. Leaving her rival staring in silent frustration. Bids quickly rise to over 1 million, then 1.5, and soon reach 2 million gold coins. Seriously, he is just standing there thinking about how ridiculously easy it is to make money here if you throw away your pride. Holding up a glowing gem, Princess Luo Shui speaks, "This is a moon heaven stone." She continues, saying 6 months ago, a high priest offered 3 million gold coins for it. But I never give up things I truly adore. I wonder if you might be interested in this precious gem, young master. He immediately realizes this gem is incredibly valuable, capable of elevating Baiqi's dragon power to a whole new tier, while the surrounding noble ladies whisper in total shock. They cannot believe Princess Luo Shui actually bid on him, wondering why she would fancy such an arrogant and rebellious young master. Perhaps she wants to form a close alliance with the powerful Zhu clan in the imperial capital through this marriage? Yusa cheers excitedly, "Sister, it worked. The princess took the bait, and we finally have a shot at getting our second ancient god pearl." Honestly, knowing him, this is definitely going to feed his massive ego for a very long time. But getting no response from Xinghua, she turns to check on her, as the bidding outside continues to climb past 3 million. Yusa senses something is wrong with Xinghua, while Miss Hua stands up to tell Princess Luo Shui not to hold a grudge. She silently notes that the Zhu family holds immense power, especially since Zhu Minglang is the son of the sect master. Our Hua family must secure this marriage at all costs, she thinks, right before a voice shouts 5 million gold coins. Li Yunzi has fully regained control of her body, stepping into the venue with an incredibly fierce and intimidating aura. Yusa watches in utter panic, knowing they are doomed, while Zhu Minglang breaks into a cold sweat upon realizing Li Yunzi has finally awakened. She frowns in confusion, wondering why on earth he is standing on that stage. No matter how outstanding Zhu Minglang is, nobody expects anyone to bid 5 million. Yet Li Yunzi stands there radiating absolute rage to his horror. Princess Luo Shui stares ahead intensely, remaining completely silent. Li Yunzi glares right back at her rival, lost in deep thought. The princess recalls him once claiming they were just innocent friends, and she grumbles silently, "Innocent? Who bids 5 million for an innocent friend?" Luo Shui bids 5.5 million, but Li Yunzi instantly raises it to 7 million, as Yusa watches in pure panic. Zhu Minglang's eyes widen with worry as he looks at her, while Yusa holds her back, whispering, "Sister, calm down. He is only doing this to get the god pearl on her forehead so you can survive." Yao Yao shouts out 5.5 million for the first time. "Is there any other sister who wants to raise the bid?" Yunzi wakes up and says, "Sadly it is fine. I am okay." Yao Yao continues her announcement. 5.5 million, going twice. Wu Jia secretly thinks it is quite a relief that Li Yunzi provoked Princess Lakthui's competitive side. Otherwise, all our carefully laid plans would have gone completely to waste here. Yo-Yo continues calling out 5.5 million, going 3 times. She grabs his hand, raising it high to announce congratulations to young Master Truk, who is now Princess Lakthui's groom for 550 gold. "I have a little secret for you, young Master Truk. Your winning bid just shattered the absolute record for groom auctions in Mukwak. Try to do even better next time, okay?" Zhu Minglang winces, thinking to himself there will absolutely not be a next time, unless it is with Li Yunzi. Frowning, he hardens his resolve. "Li Yunzi, I will definitely find enough ancient jade to cure you very soon, no matter what." She faints again, leaning heavily on Vujia's shoulder, who quickly wraps an arm around Li Yunzi in deep worry. That night, inside the princess's manor, Zhu Minglang speaks up. "I heard that absolutely no one has ever seen your true face before. Is that true?" Lakthui looks straight at him. "Do you want to see it?" The princess steps close to him and whispers, "Then take it off for me." Zhu Minglang plots to himself, once I grab that silver jade ornament from her face, I will just give a fake apologetic laugh, knock her out cold, and then escape far away with the girls. Translating thoughts into action, he reaches out to remove the veil covering the princess's face. Zhu Minglang chuckles proudly, thinking he got the ancient jade, but his grin completely vanishes the moment he sees the truth. And get this, she is not who he expected. Outside, the moon shines bright over the silent manor. Hao Da tries to reassure them, both of you. Do not worry too much. Our little junior brother probably just ran into some tricky situation. Vujia snaps back. Oh right, that princess is just way too gorgeous and beautiful. He probably will not even be able to drag himself out of her bed later. What a tough job for him. Tinhua looks at her, softly whispering Vujia. Sister, dawn is almost here anyway, so we might as well head back and rest. Tomorrow, you can brew some deer antler soup to bring to the palace, so young Master Truck does not hurt his body from working so hard all night. Hearing this, Li Yunzi keeps silent with a sad gaze. He says, let us wait a bit longer. I know what kind of person our little junior is. He would never betray either of you. Vujia yells out in anger, there is absolutely nothing between us and that guy. He can do whatever he wants with the princess. Why should we even care? As for the Then Ko Dang Nok, we can just find it ourselves. Ting Hoa stands there silently, arms crossed in frustration. Meanwhile, inside the princess's room, Zhu Minglang stammers in utter shock. On Ling Fei. She looks back at him, so Sect Master Mon has not told you yet. Zhu Minglang panics. How on earth am I supposed to knock this powerful woman out? His mother could not possibly set him up this badly, so On Ling Fei must have hidden the real princess somewhere. He says, Sect Master On, I never thought you would be this ruthless. With your high status in Muson Kiem Tong, why would you even covet a mere princess title in some mortal country? Where are you hiding the real Princess Lok Thui? Ling Fei answers calmly, Zhu Minglang, if you can abandon your path of the sword to become a Muklang Dragon Tamer, then why can I not abandon my princess duties to fully devote myself to the sword? Zhu Minglang sweats buckets as he looks at her, trying to negotiate. Well, that makes sense, but this forced marriage stuff is pretty outdated. Us young people should put an end to it, right? I will return every single cent of your dowry, so let us just pretend this never happened, alright? Ling Fei scoffs, how can a marriage vow be treated as a mere joke? Or are you still quietly pining for that girl from Nam Nin, or the other lady who kept raising the bid? Clutching his head, he groans mentally, no wonder my mom did not want me running away. As if I could actually escape this wedding. Zhu Minglang speaks up, Sect Master On. We are just not a good match. And did you not always look down on me as an unworthy opponent? Spending your entire life with a totally ordinary guy like me would be nothing but pure misery for you. Ling Fei replies coldly, as a woman, I should always strive to be better than you. He facepalms, thinking I completely forgot she is the princess of Myokwak. What on earth is going on here? Both of his parents are an absolutely perfect match when it comes to setting their own son up. I mean, talk about a bad deal. No wonder his mom did not care about him running away. Run away, she says. She then asks him, young Master Truck, are you doing all right? He considers it, realizing that since things have come to this, he might as well come completely clean. Zhu Minglang touches his throat, preparing to speak. Stepping closer to Ling Fei, he says, all right, since we are being honest, there is something I need to tell you too. Zhu Minglang admits, I never wanted to be your royal groom. The only thing I came for is the Then Ko Dang Nok on your silver jade headpiece, to save the woman I love. I just never expected Princess Lak Thui to actually be Sect Master On. Ling Fei raises an eyebrow, the woman you love. So you think I am inferior to her? She continues, Zhu Minglang, in Myokwak. The princess is the one who will inherit the royal throne. Besides, our Myokwak is incredibly wealthy and powerful. Those tiny nations cannot even compare. Our royal influence in the imperial capital is legendary. She adds, moreover, I am also the sect master of Muson Kiem Tong. Looking across the entire world, no one can compete with me except Truk Tuyet Ngan. As for my looks, you have seen them. That girl you love is only a few years younger, but in terms of beauty, I am certainly not inferior to her at all. Zhu Minglang quickly scrambles for an excuse to decline, which is exactly why Sect Master On will definitely find many better choices than me. Taking his leave, Zhu Minglang quickly steps outside, completely ignoring Wen Lingfei calling out after him. Stop right there, she demands, but Zhu Minglang refuses. Why should we force a marriage with zero love? Consider this silver and jade jewelry a debt I owe you. If you ever need help, I will be there. She continues, asking how many truly passionate love stories actually exist in this world. She never expected to fall deeply in love with another man anyway, only hoping affection could grow over time. But you are also a grand swordsman, standing at the very peak, looking down at the entire world. How many people could possibly catch your eye, she asks. But Zhu Minglang just advises her to travel more. What if I absolutely insist on choosing you anyway, she asks. Zhu Minglang replies that he can only apologize because his heart belongs to another. But she claims they are married. He asks in return if sect leader Wen Lingfei honestly thinks Zhu Minglang is a traditional, rule-following man. Refusing to back down, Wen Lingfei snaps back, asking if Zhu Minglang thinks she is someone who will submit. If you walk out of this palace today, she warns, that painter is dead. He will never leave this kingdom alive. Are you serious? He asks, staring right back at her. Wen Lingfei waves her staff, golden light swirling around her as a powerful aura fills the hall, shouting that if she had to cast aside luxury, royal power, and wealth to train at Misan Sword Sect for 20 years, only to end up submitting to the will of others, then what was the point of everything she did? Zhu Minglang unleashes his fire, spiritual energy, flames dancing around him as a glowing red dharma wheel spins in his hand, radiating intense heat. He adds that while he agrees with some of her words, she got one thing completely wrong. But Wen Lingfei coldly snaps back that since their ideals differ, there is no need to argue. Zhu Minglang summons his Makta sword straight from the sky, surging red flames tearing through the dark night. He declares that she claimed no swordsman in this world could match her, except for Truk Tuet Ngan. Zhu Minglang reaches out, tightly gripping the glowing hilt of his sword as violent flames erupt all around him. Standing in a sea of fire, he unleashes a devastating downward slash filled with immense killing intent, telling her to try taking this strike. The princess watches in absolute shock as Wen Lingfei lands heavily on the roof tiles, sparks bursting at her feet. The princess leaps toward the tower, her silhouette tracing a bright line through the night sky, while Zhu Minglang closes his eyes as flames swell around him. But look at this, his sword swings, launching a massive fire phoenix at his opponent. The 15th strike. Wen Lingfei sweats in sheer terror as the wall of fire approaches. The giant fire phoenix roars as it closes in, blasting intense heat right in her face, while palace guards look up in horror at the blazing sky. Wen Lingfei realizes that although she might survive this devastating strike, the entire royal palace below will be completely destroyed, killing innocent nobles, servants, and guards, making Zhu Minglang incredibly cruel. The blazing fire traces a long arc before fading, but a massive pillar of fire erupts from the tower, showering embers everywhere. Turning his back, Zhu Minglang warns sect leader Wen Lingfei to never threaten the things he cares about ever again, because if she does, he glances back. Her palace, her sword sect, and even she herself will all be ground into dust by his own hands, while terrified servants huddle against the walls as embers rain down. Standing amidst the falling embers, Wen Lingfei yells out that he can run. She stands there frozen under the fiery rain, her eyes filled with sorrow, whispering that he cannot escape their ultimate shared destiny. Zhu Minglang leaps over the outer wall, successfully escaping, while his three companions sitting on the ground look up at him. Ngofong's eyes light up with pure joy as he gives a big thumbs up, amazed that his junior brother mastered the powerful 15th strike. Vorsa strokes her chin, looking Zhu Minglang up and down. All done already? Wide-eyed, he blushes and follows her gaze, mentally begging her to stop saying things that make his mind wander. Embarrassed and flustered, Zhu Minglang covers Vorsa's eyes and shouts that Princess Lok Thui is actually sect leader Wen Lingfei of the Musan Sword Sect. She is the daughter-in-law my mother chose, so fighting her took quite some time. She struggles, waving her hands. Why are you covering my eyes like this? Watching this playful bickering, a sudden realization strikes Ngofong and Tin Huar as they both piece the puzzle together in silence. Vorsa asks if it was really her, then demands the jade, prompting Zhu Minglang to smirk and show off a glowing stone. Presenting the glowing stone, he urges everyone to run, fast, before she sends her royal guards after us. Wen Lingfei has a pretty nasty temper, you know. After walking deep into the woods, Wu Feng turns to Minglang and says, "Little junior brother, this is where we part ways." His eyes gleam with pure amusement as he whispers, "Do not worry. Our Jiaoshan sword sect will always have your back. Just run off with those two girls." Minglang avoids his gaze, feeling completely helpless. Minglang sighs. "Senior brother, you got it all wrong. My bond with those two is strictly honorable." Wu Feng turns dead serious and bows. To him, this junior brother is the absolute legend of their Jiaoshan sword sect. In both swordsmanship and romance, Minglang bows back, saying, "Farewell, brother, give my best to the great sword sovereign." As Minglang helplessly walks away, Wu Feng waves excitedly and yells out, "Go on, have some babies soon." A little while later, his boots crunch heavily on the dry forest leaves. Suddenly, something catches his eye. Long legs and a fluttering skirt. Wait, is his mom Bingxi floating in midair? Minglang shouts up in shock, "Mom, did you come to drag me back to marry her?" She glares down at the three of them, replying coldly, "They are fine, but Wen Lingfei is still better." Minglang grins cheekily and fires back, "Dad is not bad either. Maybe you two should get back together." Mengzi shoots him a bone-chilling glare. She floats down behind him, sighing, "I came to reveal the location of the final primal god ancient lamp jade. Since you love talking back, go find it yourself." Hearing this, he quickly massages her shoulders, pleading, "Mommy, I was wrong. Mengzi replies with a totally blank face. Head toward knee-high. There is a city called Niyu City. The Lord's seal there is made from that ancient lamp jade. She uses her spiritual energy to manifest a giant hand, pinching Minglang's cheek as he breaks into a cold sweat. He realizes Niyu City is perfect for his plan. If he plays his cards right, he will soon become its new city lord. She tosses a glowing green meteorite into his hand, explaining, "This is the moon meteorite I gave Wen Lingfei when she became sect master." Minglang gazes at the meteorite happily. So mom does care about me. He knows survival is tough, but having this moon meteorite will definitely give him a massive leg up. Finally, his mother softens her tone and lays down her ultimate condition. If the talented painter girl traveling by your side can somehow defeat Wen Lingfei within 2 years, I will go call off your royal marriage myself. Otherwise, Wen Lingfei is still legally his wife. He stammers, "Mom, she is just Nan Ling, she's little sister." Mengzi flies off, leaving a voice echoing back. "Either of them will do, as long as they win." "Fine, 2 years," Minglang mutters, completely bewildered by his mother's bizarre logic. Meanwhile, down the road, a familiar girl waves enthusiastically at him. "Over here," she waves. Minglang asks, "Wait, where is Hao Ye?" Nianian explains that Hao Feng heard about his journey, so Hao Ye went ahead to scout out Niyu City. A sudden light bulb goes off in Minglang's head. He turns to the two of them with an announcement. "Get in the carriage first. I have some business to take care of." She gives him a skeptical look, doubting his words. "Are you off to chase pretty girls again?" Minglang crosses his arms. "Do I really look like that kind of guy?" The 3 girls yell in unison, "Yes!" Suddenly, someone approaches them. Hao Yi asks, "Miss Feng, has my little uncle arrived?" Nianian answers from inside. Xinghua pulls back the carriage curtain, looking at him curiously and asking, "Who might you be?" Hao Ye bows deeply. "I am Hao Ye, a wandering swordsman. Greetings, Miss Nan." Xinghua giggles, "I am actually Miss Li." This completely throws Hao Ye off, leaving him scratching his head in confusion. He heard Zhu Minglang travels with a powerful painter named Nan, who defeated Sister Miao Zhu. Why is she Miss Li now? Does his uncle have multiple girls? No wonder the Duke of Luo Shui has his eye on him. His uncle sure is a lady killer. He asks, "So, where is my uncle?" Merchants say things in Niyu City are pretty messy, so we need a solid plan. Xinghua simply points toward the towering mountains ahead. He went over that way. Meanwhile, Minglang sits on a high rock, wiping sweat from his forehead as he looks at the distant view. He is so distracted by the beautiful scenery that he almost misses it. The great black crow is about to emerge. Deep inside his spiritual world, the black crow is peacefully sleeping, completely surrounded by roaring flames. Its fangs grow sharper, its claws expand, and its dark horn turns wickedly jagged. Suddenly, a booming voice wakes it in total shock. "Great Black Crow." He quickly gets up and looks at his massive body in absolute shock. "Oh my god, what happened to my body?" Zhu Minglang sighs helplessly at him. "Dummy, you just broke through." He Ya puts a hand on his head with a smug grin, boasting that he can get stronger just by sleeping. Zhu Minglang nods, guessing it is the effect of the Spirit Spring domain, before giving a hopeful smile. "Once you stabilize your cultivation, we will find a way to awaken the runes on your fire armor. That way, you will be able to easily withstand attacks even from a commander-tier dragon beast." He looks at Bai Qi, whose eyes are glued to the meteorite. "Next up, we need the moonstone to stabilize Bai Qi's dragon bloodline." Out in the real world, Zhu Minglang summons Makta. Zhu Minglang asks curiously, "Master Shen Hai, why must we head to the mountain peak?" Emerging from the spiritual summoning circle, the old master replies, "Only an open area bathed in direct sunlight can stimulate Bai Qi to absorb all the energy within the moonstone, helping him easily reshape his dragon bloodline." Shenhai continues. "But during this reshaping process, Bai Qi will not be able to use his dragon bloodline. He will only have the strength of a lower-tier dragon lord." Zhu Minglang looks up with a puzzled expression, asking how much stronger Bai Qi will become after his bloodline is fully reshaped. The master begins explaining. "Once his bloodline stabilizes and combines with the dragon armor you just crafted, his strength will rank among the top-tier commander-level beasts." Looking at Makta and Shenhai, Zhu Minglang entrusts them with the task, saying he will now help Bai Qi absorb the moonstone's power. "Please protect us, Master Shenhai and Makta." He replies confidently, "Do not worry. Even though I am a legendary heavenly ancestor, I have returned to my original form as a simple, ordinary fish." Zhu Minglang closes his eyes to meditate. Soon after, Haradan's voice echoes, "Little martial uncle." And here is where it gets funny. Shenhai glares coldly, asking who he is. Hao Dan nervously sizes him up, wondering if this talking fish is also one of his martial uncle's dragon beasts. He quickly bows and introduces himself, stating he is Harda, a wandering swordsman from the Jiaoson sword sect, sent to escort everyone out of the Miao kingdom. Shenhai crosses his fins defensively over his chest. "Oh, the Jiaoson sword sect? I actually have a question for you. Harda politely tells him to go ahead. Glaring down with pure disdain, Shenhai asks what kind of garbage food their sect eats. Why does everyone there look so incredibly old? Flustered and pale, Harda nervously stammers his response. Maybe I just have a very mature face. Shenhai stares back deadpan, repeating the question, so who are you again? Harda is completely bewildered, thinking he already answered that. Squeezing his eyes shut, he repeats his introduction for the second time. I am Haro Da, a wandering swordsman from the Jiaosun sword sect. Shenhai just blankly repeats his question. Oh, Jiaosun sword sect? I have a question for you. Harda stands completely frozen, experiencing a total deja vu meltdown before finally escaping Shenhai. Harda walks back like a lifeless ghost. He sighs in massive relief, his brain totally fried by the repeating questions, glad to finally be free from his martial uncle's bizarre dragon beast. Then, Harda notices Tinghua sitting on the outside of the carriage. Awkwardly walking over, he says, Lady Li, my martial uncle is currently cultivating, so we shouldn't disturb him right now. Wu Jia, clutching a fairy rabbit in his arms, looks up in surprise and asks who he is. Harodan's eyes well up with tears. Didn't I literally just introduce myself a moment ago? Even if I'm not as blindingly handsome as my martial uncle, is it even possible to be this completely forgettable to everyone? Clenching his trembling fists, he tells himself not to lose heart because he is also outstanding. Forcing a painful smile, Harda bows. He says, I am Haoza, a wandering swordsman from the Zhaosun sword sect. I was ordered by Chief Ingo to guide my martial uncle and Lady Li. Wu Jia points to the carriage. Oh, I'm a guy. Lady Li is actually inside. Tinhua pulls back the carriage curtain, asking if something is wrong. Haradong gasps in sheer shock, wondering what on earth is going on. Are they sisters? Is my martial uncle really playing around like this? Regaining his composure, Haodun solemnly addresses them as ladies. The situation in Yornvor City is extremely chaotic. It sits right at the border of 4 nations, making it a battleground where a different country's flag might hang by nightfall. Tinhua asks worriedly if that means it is incredibly dangerous. Haodun quickly suggests a plan. Once we pass the next outpost, the main road is extremely heavily guarded by Imperial soldiers, so everyone must hide inside the carriage. Wu Jia nods, saying they understand. Tinhua gently nods her agreement. Soon after, their group arrives at the gates of Yornvor City, where Zhu Minglang presents a scroll to the guards. This is the official Han appointment letter and the city title deed. I have officially been appointed as the new lord of Yornvor City. Feeling annoyed, the guard answers curtly, go this way. This city belongs to our due state now, so you need an appointment order from our sovereign instead. Zhu Minglang asks in utter confusion. Wasn't this city part of the Han state just 2 days ago? He wonders we only came to Nuanvu City for the appointment order. But now the city has completely changed hands. Haoda steps forward anxiously, asking his little martial uncle what they should do. Nuanvu City is a tough nut to crack. Zhu Minglang sighs with a tired shake of his head. I am pretty stumped too. He calculates silently right now. The crucial City Lord seal is held by the powerful Shenfan Academy standing behind this territory. But their inscription rules state that this City Lord seal only allows a City Lord to rule for 1 single month. Stroking his chin in deep thought, Zhu Minglang realizes if he cannot secure the City Lord title, he must search Shenfan Academy directly. But without knowing its exact location, he cannot just tear Shenfan Academy apart to find it. Finally, he decides everyone should go inside to rest first, while he figures out another way. Harda acknowledges the command, and the group slowly makes their way together into the heart of Nuanvu City. Soon, the 4 of them find themselves standing in a completely barren wasteland. Hands on his hips, Zhu Minglang looks around, realizing this dilapidated courtyard is their only shelter from the elements. Looks like they must burn firewood to cook. Harda scans the area, quietly assessing their grim surroundings. Just look at this place. If it weren't right on the main trade route with caravans passing through, it would have been a total ghost town by now. He feels a deep pang of regret because of its prime location. Warring factions fought over it constantly, leaving the entire city completely ruined. There's a clear reason why the land deed was abandoned without any buyers. A little later, they huddle together inside a makeshift tent, lighting a fire to cook. Holding the yellow parchment, Zhu Minglang wonders aloud. If we hand this deed directly to Shenfan Academy, could we rightfully claim the City Lord seal without any issues? Keeping an eye on the food, Hardo replies that the rival forces stationed here won't agree so easily, since they definitely don't want a City Lord around. Zhu Minglang scoffs in contempt. They are just a bunch of parasites, and I will definitely kick them all out. Suddenly, both he and Fang Nianian tense up, alertly looking off to the side. Hobachlin arrives with 2 lackeys, shouting angrily, "You bunch of hobos, what do you think this place is? Get lost right now." Zhu Minglang and his group stare back blankly. Ho Shungmin follows behind Hobachlin, quickly apologizing, "Sorry, we do not mean to throw you all out like this. It is just that this courtyard was once our family estate before war destroyed it, and we are planning to rebuild it now." Fang Nianian snaps back fearlessly. We have been here for hours without seeing anyone, yet you show up right after we finish cleaning. Quite a coincidence. Ho Baklin tosses a coin pouch onto the ground. Like charity, here is some cash for your cleaning trouble. Take it and get lost, she sneers, which absolutely infuriates Fang Nianian as she screams back, who wants your dirty money? We hold the deed to this entire city. Every single inch belongs to us. So you are the ones who need to get lost. Ho Sung-min is stunned by Fang Nianian's claim, while Ho Baklin glares in disbelief, pointing her finger. What kind of sick joke is this? The deed to this city was sold off ages ago, she snaps, so stop trying to scam us. Zhu Minglang stands up, rolling up the scroll with a polite bow. We come from the imperial capital, and we truly hold the deed. He asks if they are locals and if this estate belonged to them, prompting Ho Shung-min to look at him warily, stating his father built Nuanvu City. Back then, his father led an army to wipe out the Tanglong beast that occupied the area for years, even building the very first fortress here. That battle shook the entire nation, he says, as Zhu Minglang glances at Haroda, who immediately understands and asks. He mentions hearing that the city's founder was from the Ho clan, asking if they belonged to that family. The man nods seriously to introduce themselves. That's right, I am Ho Shung-min, and this is my younger sister, Ho Baklin. We were meant to inherit Nuanvu City, but due to a series of complicated issues, our father was forced to sell it to Shenfan Academy. Clenching his fists, Ho Sung-min asks in utter confusion that deed is supposed to be at Shenfan Academy. So how did it end up with you? Can you let me examine the deed for a second? He requests, since my father's signature should be on it if it's real. Zhu Minglang hands it over without hesitation. No problem, he says, while Ho Baklin stares at the document with wide eyes, confirming it is indeed their father's signature along with their own fingerprints. Ho Shung-min holds the paper with trembling hands as cold sweat breaks out across his face. This deed bears the official stamp of the royal court, proving they were actually sent by the empire. Fang Nianian smugs, mocking them with a funny face. I told you guys, she brags. You are the ones who should beat it. But Zhu Minglang remains calm, seriously offering a peaceful alternative instead. There is a large ruined building right next to this courtyard, and with a quick sweep, it is livable if you do not mind staying there. Ho Shung-min steps forward and hands the deed back, thanking him for being so honest and straightforward. But this deed is practically worthless now, he warns, because this city is far more dangerous than you think, even with an army of guards. Becoming city lord is basically a death sentence, especially since you barely have any people. Zhu Minglang cuts straight to the chase, demanding he speak his mind. Shung-min frankly shares his opinion, proposing that Zhu Minglang sell him the deed since his father foolishly sold this city years ago, leaving it to be trampled by foreign powers. For the past few years, my sister and I have been gathering troops, hoping to win back control over Nuanvu and completely rebuild this place. Fang Nianian asks in surprise, do you really plan to reclaim a city with only 200 people? Shung-min confidently responds that they are all elites, with plenty of stored rations and a solid battle strategy. They plan to capture a small section of the city first. Then they will slowly wipe out the low-tier gangs. Zhu Minglang asks further about the Lord Seal, wondering when they plan to retrieve it. Shung-min firmly answers that after claiming the title, he intends to hold this ground for a full month. If it does not change owners by then, he will demand its return from the Thunfam Academy. Look at how he plays this. Zhu Minglang lowers his eyes, thinking that since they can get the seal, they might as well cooperate. Besides, he has no interest in being lord. Feeling confused and deeply puzzled, Sung-min points out that the Lord Seal is merely a status symbol. It might be much faster if Zhu Minglang hands over the land deed, allowing them to rebuild and recruit under their own banner. Zhu Minglang closes his eyes and chuckles in amusement, saying they will definitely be useful. He gestures to his crew, promising that with their help, they will not waste any time. He reveals he is a dragon tamer, and those people are all members of his elite squad. Shung-min looks completely bewildered, pointing out they only have 5 people in total, but Zhu Minglang firmly corrects him, stating they are actually 7. Grinning with pure confidence, Zhu Minglang points out that he holds the official land deed as the rightful lord, while Sung-min's family built this city and wants to reclaim their lost home. So why not team up to drive out those dark, corrupt forces polluting this entire region? Frowning as a silent battle rages within his mind, Shung-min finally makes his ultimate choice. He extends his hand, stating that as long as they can banish or destroy the Tanglong clan, the vile tyrants occupying Nuanvu, he is fully willing to cooperate. Zhu Minglang reaches out to seal the deal, promising a great partnership. With their alliance secured, night falls over the camp. Skewers of meat sizzle over hot coals, sending up trails of white smoke and an irresistible pine aroma. Zhu Minglang raises his bowl with a loud laugh. Come on, eat and drink up. But then, he notices the siblings looking incredibly gloomy. Are they still stressing over the fate of Nuanvu? Shung-min silently sips his wine, keeping to himself. Lin glances around the area, sighing that this place is so lawless even basic bandits openly fight over territory without any fear. Her eyes are filled with pure resentment and helplessness, explaining that half of all the stolen loot goes straight to foreign militaries. This funding only makes those militaries grow stronger, which will make the situation in Nyornvurthine much worse over time. Zhu Minglang rubs his chin in deep thought, admitting that he is not very good with these matters and has no idea how to handle it. He sighs that if only Tring Du were here with them. Back during the war against Dwyer Kwok, it was Tring Du who quietly mapped out a secret shortcut to the enemy capital, allowing his lady to secure a decisive victory. But right now, Tring Du is far away in the capital of Li Xuan. Suddenly, Li Yunzi speaks up, advising they issue a martial decree to execute any armed faction on sight. Are you hearing this? His eyes immediately light up, recognizing his wife's brilliant tactical mind. She steps closer to Zhu Minglang, detailing her ruthless tactical approach. Once the decree is set, they will wipe out the bandits occupying the city, track down and eliminate the rebel instigators in the shadows, and frame the slaughter as a lawless bloodbath. Anyone who wants to avoid clashing with their elite forces will have to flee immediately. Zhu Minglang rushes over and gently grabs Li Yunzi's shoulders, leaving the siblings staring in utter shock. He asks if his wife is finally awake and how she is feeling. She calmly answers that she is doing fine but feels rather tired. He anxiously offers to help her rest first, leaving Shungmin completely baffled by this sudden revelation. He quietly wonders to himself why Zhu Minglang never mentioned earlier that this brilliant lady was actually his wife. The next morning, bright sunlight bathes Nyornvurthine. Zhu Minglang and Li Yunzi stroll along a dirt path, realizing it has been a very long time since their last walk together. Although this place is somewhat desolate right now, rebuilding it would create a truly breathtaking scene. It would be absolutely perfect if they could add this city to the official map of Li Xian. He smiles and tells her to mark down any favorite spots so they can explore them together. She merely stares in silence at the physical land deed. A brush has circled Miokwok in dark ink. Zhu Minglang follows the stroke of Li Yunzi's brush, thinking his lady is still deeply concerned about the conflict over there. She speaks up, noting that the unpredictable world often forces people to act against their own will. She hates not being able to make her own choices. Feeling incredibly guilty, he apologizes for letting his wife down during the husband selection contest. Li Yunzi closes her eyes and calmly dismisses it, claiming she does not mind at all. But her soft dismissal only makes Zhu Minglang feel much more guilty inside. How could she not care? She does. She walks quickly ahead. After all that happened, it really comes down to him being too weak, and he watches his wife with a heavy heart. Li Yunzi casts her eyes down, blaming herself. If she had been strong enough, she wouldn't have been hurt fighting the Du Kingdom or made everyone worry so much. No way she would force Zhu Minglang to marry into the Mu Kingdom just for some ancient jade. Zhu Minglang tells her that he knows she hates losing and seeing others make sacrifices. He promises that no matter what happens in the future, he will always stand right by her side. She answers him seriously, there are always variables, and a tiny place like the Du Kingdom almost cost them their entire destiny. So until she can fully understand how Hongvu was formed, she simply cannot afford to let her guard down. He secretly slips a finger into her palm, telling his wife not to stress over the future, because the present is what truly matters. She is totally jealous. Li Yunzi snaps back, asking why he doesn't just call that Mu Kingdom princess his wife instead. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang firmly grabs her hand and pulls her whole body into a very tight, warm embrace. He insists she is his only wife, making Li Yunzi freeze and blush, while he realizes she really is jealous about that groom competition. Letting her go, he stares. Li Yunzi, stop worrying about the distant future. He asks if she likes this Nwanvu city, suggesting they just take it, but Li Yunzi says they should see what the host siblings are capable of first. No defense? Simple. If they fail, they will just steal the city lord's seal and run. Zhu Minglang firmly agrees, secretly proud of his wife's massive ambition, and deciding he absolutely has to support her. With so many hungry dragons and a sister-in-law to feed, he and his wife really need to grind together. With his wife napping, Zhu Minglang walks the busy, noisy streets to investigate. He wants to scout Nwanvu City. It is messy, but it is basically a lawless miniature society. Mercenaries, guards, soldiers, hunters, and merchants all rely on this exact place just to survive. Spotting a massive crowd gathered around, he decides to check out the bounty board to see if he can make some quick cash. Rubbing his chin, Zhu Minglang looks over the requests, from gathering morning dragon claws for weapons to hunting down rebel dragon tamers. Now check this out. Suddenly, a specific poster catches his eye, showing his very own face with a massive bounty for running away from his Mu Kingdom wedding. He laughs. Wait, is that actually me? It totally is. The portrait is incredibly accurate, capturing his flawless, handsome face so perfectly that anyone would easily be able to recognize him at a single glance. But after 3 short seconds of joy, his mood plummets straight to hell, wondering if Ling Fei has lost her mind. Does she not care about losing face? This is absolutely wild. Nearby mercenaries quickly notice the exact match between his real face and the poster, staring directly at him and saying this guy looks pretty familiar. They point out that he looks exactly like the runaway groom wanted by the Mu Kingdom royalty. Escaping a royal wedding is totally unforgivable, especially with a massive 3 million gold bounty for his capture, so they all scramble to catch him. Zhu Minglang is totally speechless. What a lethal move. He scratches his head, completely lost. She only offered 2.75 million gold for the bid, yet put a 3 million gold bounty on him, so he tries to talk them down. He warns them to back off, pointing out that a 3 million gold bounty means he is an extremely dangerous guy they should not mess with. No chance. The mercenaries are not listening. Feeling heavily provoked by his arrogance, the professional hunters and mercenaries charge forward, refusing to let a single target threaten them like this. They yell to split the massive 3 million gold bounty once they take him down. Time to summon. Zhu Minglang opens his spiritual circle to call upon Dai Hak Na. The beast emerges, ready to let these fools experience the devastating power of a newly upgraded masterclass thunderstorm dragon. With just one strike, it blasts away dozens of mercenaries, but they keep swarming like ants, rushing forward to take him down. Zhu Minglang quickly summons even more help, telling Than Trak and Mo Xie to join the fight. Niem gasps. Oh my god, it is Zhu Minglang. Meanwhile, Hao Da drops to his knees with his sword, utterly shocked to see Li Yunzi stepping outside, calling her Lady Lei. His eyes light up as he explains that his master uncle wanted him to pass on a message. He says his uncle went to scout the city in case she woke up, but she just gives Hao Da a freezing look. Li Yunzi glares at him and coldly asks who his master uncle is and who he even is, causing Hao Da's sword to clatter onto the ground. Another forgotten moment. He is completely devastated for the 100th time. 1 whole month. I have lived with them for an entire month, you know. Why can they still not remember me? Is my presence really that weak? Nianian rushes back to report some bad news. Zhu Minglang is currently fighting a bunch of local thugs down at the ruined market. Time to check it out. Yunzi steps onto her flying sword, leaving Hao Ye standing there in absolute shock as she coolly flies away. This girl looks so fragile, but she is surprisingly strong. Outside the market, the mercenaries defeated by Zhu Minglang are piled high like a mini mountain. Sitting right on top of that pile like a king, he decides to take this chance to make a quick announcement to everyone. Starting today, I, Zhu Minglang, am the Lord of Runwu City. If you want to make a living here from now on, you had better play by the rules. Yunzi suddenly appears right behind him, but Zhu Minglang has no idea and keeps making threats. Otherwise, do not blame me for being ruthless. The crowd erupts as she arrives, shouting that an expert has come to put Zhu Minglang in his place. Hey fairy, if you help us capture Zhu Minglang, we will give you a share of 3 million gold taels. Yunzi mutters a blunt agreement to arrest him, then immediately unleashes her sword power to completely wipe them all out. Standing down below, Zhu Minglang desperately pleads, please, dear wife, show some mercy on them. Then he growls a stern warning from this day on. No armed forces are allowed to camp in Runwu City without my direct permission. If you do not leave tonight, you will be treated as rebels and executed on sight. Yunzi lands gracefully and asks what is going on. He scratches his head, playing it cool. It is nothing, just a small argument with some people. She points directly to a portrait on the wall, reminding him that the Princess of Miao Kingdom has a bounty on him for 3 million gold. Zhu Minglang points to himself, oozing absolute confidence. They are just dreaming of capturing me to make me their prince consort. But you know me, dear wife, I am a loyal man and would never agree. Hearing this, Yunzi immediately grabs the poster and crushes it to pieces. She turns away, hiding her cold expression, though her irritated tone still gives away the frustration boiling inside her. I doubt she will give up that easily, she tells him, while silently thinking to herself that one day she will definitely pay this princess a visit. Before Yunzi can even walk away, a complete stranger suddenly steps directly in front of the pair and raises his voice. This towering, heavily built man with a long dark beard is none other than Commander Wei Kai of the Copper Saber Army. Looking highly annoyed, he tilts his chin up and demands, "What did you just say? Get out of Runwu City? Say that again, because I did not hear you clearly." Keeping his cool, Zhu Minglang politely makes his request. "I am the city lord, so leave before tonight." But the commander mockingly laughs, claiming Zhu Minglang is just waving a petty authority around. "Do you really think our Copper Saber Army will move out tonight?" Behind them, Yunzi quietly mutters the name with a puzzled look. Zhu Minglang quickly explains that they are one of the most powerful local factions around here. But here is the thing, their military might is on a whole different level compared to petty thugs, so they definitely will not pack up and leave easily. Wei Kai eagerly boasts that his sect has 3,000 elite sabermen, so even the regular city-state armies choose to take a detour to avoid them. You had better take your pretty little wife and get out of here, instead of dreaming about playing the city lord. Far from being intimidated, Zhu Minglang smiles and mockingly fires back at him. You are really just a private militia led by a bunch of simple swordsmen. If your army is so great, why not conquer your own fortress instead of squatting here? Surprisingly honest, Weichai does not even try to hide his reasons. Taking a city is easy, but managing it is too hard. We only know how to fight and kill. We are clueless about everything else. Zhu Minglang chuckles, calmly digging deeper. This ruined city has nothing of value anyway, so why are you guys so stubbornly holding on to it? Weichai bluntly admits the truth. Check out that greedy look on his face. He admits they are only here because they heard a morning dragon has recently appeared. We want to hunt them. A dead morning dragon sells for thousands of gold, and a high-tier one can fetch tens of thousands of gold taels. Zhu Minglang rubs his chin, pondering over this morning dragon. Suddenly, Yunzi speaks up and demands to know where their military camp is located. Let us go take a look. Without any hesitation, Weichai immediately agrees to lead the way and show them around their camp. In no time, the three of them arrive at the Copper Saber Army's base. His soldiers are training intensely, their loud shouts echoing non-stop. Zhu Minglang is genuinely impressed by the sheer scale of their operation. While they have swordsmen and spiritualists, they do not seem to have a single dragon tamer. Hearing this, Weichai spits in anger, claiming that dragon tamers are far too arrogant to hire, so he would rather give that money to his own brothers. Just as he finishes speaking, a soldier suddenly rushes over to the commander with great urgency. He breathlessly reports that the dragon tamers from the Hu clan army they spotted earlier this morning are making a massive move. Weichai growls in a gravelly voice, demanding to know what the siblings Ho Sung-min and Ho Bai-ling are planning. Giving his scout the order to watch them, he turns back to Zhu Minglang and Li Yunzi. Hey, City Lord, didn't you say you wanted to kick out all the armed forces? Why not expel the Ho army first since they were the first to settle here? Li Yunzi asks bluntly. We are on the same side, Weichai roars, feeling completely played and losing his mind in anger. Damn it, you came to spy on us, he snaps, but Zhu Minglang just chuckles, reminding him that he invited them. Weichai loses his temper, warning them loudly that he only invited them to showcase his army's overwhelming power, so they would know better than to mess with them. Right then, Li Yunzi suddenly asks him directly, How much does it cost to hire your army? She asks. As Weichai crosses his arms arrogantly, bragging that they only do heavy sieges. We wipe out clans, raid dragon dens, and crush demon nests, not play babysitter to spoiled, pretty faces like you two. Li Yunzi calmly presses for the price, while Zhu Minglang watches her, trying to figure out his wife's plan. Is his wife actually trying to recruit them, he wonders, while Weichai's proud act melts in seconds as he quickly blathers that it really depends on the job. 1.5 million gold taels as a deposit. If we are talking about sieging castles, fighting national wars, or wiping out stubborn factions, we will adjust our fee based on the actual danger and potential casualties. Zhu Minglang listens closely and realizes that since the Ho clan only cooperates, they will never fully obey his direct orders. Without an army of their own, cleaning out the chaotic factions running wild in the city will be nearly impossible. His wife's idea is genius, and Li Yunzi instantly plays mind games, baiting him by saying the Ho clan only costs 1 million gold taels and easily provides dragon tamers. His pride taking a massive hit, Weichai instantly explodes with rage. How can those greenhorns ever compare to our battle-hardened saber army, he yells, while Li Yunzi keeps playing it completely cool to reel him in. 1 million gold taels, she says. If you agree, you can stay stationed here and follow our direct commands. If not, then pack up your bags and get out. Once night falls, every single thing in this city will be under our absolute control, and that includes your very lives, she warns, leaving Weichai standing there completely dazed and conflicted. He falls quiet for a moment, weighing his options carefully. 1 million gold taels is a bit low, but hunting the Tang dragon is no quick job, and there is no guarantee they would even profit from it. Taking a contract guarantees a steady payout, and with just a few sentences, she completely locks down the deal. Seriously, how is she this good? Weichai himself agrees to the 1 million gold taels price, and Zhu Minglang is amazed, thinking his wife is absolutely brilliant. The next day, a massive crowd gathers around the town bulletin board, gossiping loudly about the new city lord actually issuing a decree to expel all armed factions. This new city lord must be a complete idiot. Passing a decree like this is just begging for self-destruction, they mock. But Zhu Minglang blends into the crowd with a smirk, thinking they are the ones who are in for a show. The gossiping continues, as people whisper that they do not even expect the new city lord to survive past tonight. The powerful warlords will never show any respect to a petty city lord like him. They rumor that the Ho clan has returned, wondering if they are behind this since the entire city was practically ruined by their family in the past. Back in the day, Nwanvu City was so glorious, but now it has turned into a lawless den of bandits. Zhu Minglang approaches a local hunter, asking how much for the meat, but the hunter kindly explains that it is not for sale, since it is reserved for the soldiers at Lu camp. Zhu Minglang instantly orders him to stop sending them any food. The hunter gets confused, asking if he is new to Nuanvu City, and Zhu Minglang innocently asks how he figured that out. The old hunter, Old Man Huang, stares closely at him and explains that absolutely nobody in Nuanvu City actually spends money on meat. The strong simply steal whatever they want, and the beasts at Lu Camp will literally eat human flesh if their meat is not delivered before dinner. Zhu Minglang replies softly, telling the old man he is not joking around. Lu Camp was conspiring with bandits for massive profits, so I already ordered them to be completely wiped out. Their leader is getting publicly executed in the ruined marketplace tonight, but a younger hunter rushes over, warning him that spreading wild rumors like this will easily get him killed. Old Man Hong also chimes in, politely asking the young master who he really is. Zhu Minglang proudly states that he is the city lord of Nuanvu City. I am Zhu Minglang, and I personally issued that decree, he says. But as they think he is lying, a man suddenly runs up, screaming in absolute terror. Old Man Hoang, they are all dead. The entire Lu camp has been wiped out, he gasps, making Old Man Hoang fall to his knees, sobbing in shock. Forgive us, City Lord, we did not recognize you. Please do not punish our poor village. The terrified old man begs over and over again. Zhu Minglang stretches out his hands to help him up, telling the old man to stand and asking if he can buy the meat now. Seeing his good nature, the old uncle chuckles and teases him. Is this your first time as an official? Why would you buy meat from common folk? This meat is our gift to you, he says. Zhu Minglang stands there completely speechless, his mind racing but unable to find any words. The old uncle is a master of small talk, but Zhu Minglang refuses to go against his own conscience. He says it straight out, name your price, old uncle. Your livelihoods need to recover, and this is how we start. Fair rules only. Think of this as a brand new beginning for Nuanvu City. The old uncle beams with a massive grin. Since the city lord insists, he offers a 50% discount 80 gold taels for the cart. Zhu Minglang did not see that move coming. He blames himself for being careless that sly old Dao is truly a menace. Back home, he gets a massive scolding from Niam right to his face. 80 gold taels for just a bit of meat? Honestly, we would be screaming too into Long City, that buys a whole ranch. Zhu Minglang clears his throat to save face. Wood, rice, and salt are expensive here. Meat is literally rarer than gold. The old uncle only gave me a discount out of respect for the city lord. Niam knows better, and keeps scolding this cart of meat is not even enough for Dai Hak Na's breakfast. Zhu Minglang can only smile weakly, saying this meat was for them. But Niam immediately cuts him off. What about Dai Hak Na? It is about to starve. Since it reached the lord level, its appetite tripled, and normal pork cannot provide enough spiritual energy. Zhu Minglang gets an idea and shouts for Hao Da. He runs over with tears streaming down little martial uncle. You actually remember my name? Zhu Minglang freezes. What now? Is this kid crazy? Is his old illness acting up again? Niam does not even look, indifferently saying she has no idea. Zhu Minglang gets serious. Hao Da, your swordsmanship still needs refinement. Go hunt down some demon beasts over the next few days. Bring back as much magic beast meat as possible. Niam pipes up, saying she will go along since she knows what Dai Hak Na likes. Plus, she can scout for resources. Standing at strict attention, Hao Da loudly salutes, declaring that he will obey his little martial uncle. Zhu Minglang adds some instructions. Hao Da, take Niam with you. Attack when she tells you, and make sure your sword strikes precisely carve out the best meat. He clenches his fist with burning passion. No problem, little martial uncle, he excitedly yells. He vows to train diligently under his uncle's guidance, making sure everyone finally remembers his name, Hao Da, the legendary swordsman who will soon become famous everywhere. Before long, the mouth-watering aroma of grilled meat skewers fills the entire house. Zhu Minglang lovingly hands a fresh skewer to his wife, Li Yunzi. Taste my cooking, my love. But brace yourself right before they can even take a bite. A squad of armed soldiers comes charging in. Hua Tong, the commander of Longma camp, barks out a brutal order: tear down this place and slaughter every single living soul. Zhu Minglang is slightly confused. Didn't he already order the Ho family brothers and the Dongdao army to completely wipe out the rebels? Wait, why is another armed force surrounding them right now? Keeping his cool, he calmly greets them. Which group of legendary heroes do you all belong to? Hua Tong sneers arrogantly. You do not even recognize the Longma camp, yet you dare to claim you are the city lord? This city belongs to us, and ordering our deaths means you are tired of living. Unbothered, Zhu Minglang calmly pulls out a yellow scroll. He warns them that he holds an imperial decree, and attacking him means rebelling against the entire imperial dynasty. But this brute does not care at all. Waving his hand, he yells at Zhu Minglang to stop using the imperial dynasty to threaten him. He boasts that he kills every single official who enters Nuanvu City. On his command, the soldiers instantly draw their flaming bows. A massive barrage of flaming arrows rains down from the sky, looking like beautiful fireworks from afar, but they carry absolute ruin for this home. Zhu Minglang immediately shields Li Yunzi, yelling for his wife to be careful as danger strikes. She does not say a word, stepping forward on her jade-like feet. Her hands summon a brilliant swirl of fire, leaving Zhu Minglang utterly speechless at her power. His wife does not even need a sword to fight. Possessing rare fire meridians, Li Yunzi simply blows a soft, gentle breath of flame. Boom! That tiny spark instantly erupts into a towering wall of blazing fire. It curves beautifully to swallow up every single arrow. Hua Tong is left furious and deeply annoyed at being blocked so easily. Seizing the perfect opportunity, Zhu Minglang lunges forward into a fierce counterattack. His spear moves like a flash of lightning, instantly piercing straight through multiple soldiers under Hua Tong's command. Pure anger. Zhu Minglang's face goes deadly serious as his sheer annoyance is on full display. In an instant, he engulfs his enemies in a devastating sea of demonic fire. No struggle is possible, let alone an escape. Zhu Minglang draws back his weapon and calmly observes the scene. Against this band of ruthless killers, there is absolutely no need to give them a second chance. Without a moment of hesitation, he swings his hand back forcefully. As his arm raises, millions of swords suddenly materialize on his command, launching directly at the enemy. Each firefly sword mercilessly pierces right through the heavy iron armor of those soldiers. Old Hua Tong tries his best to ignore the slaughter, screaming while drawing his bow. He yells out, "What is there to fear? It is just a sword. Can it really slaughter us all?" He orders his archers to turn him into a pincushion. The arrow he fires this time is packed with pure divine energy and fueled by his absolute fury, making it incredibly oppressive. It summons a roaring black dragon. Zhu Minglang does not take it lightly, yet he is still somewhat surprised.